program after us, by the way. We got Aztecs basketball tonight against USD. Little crosstown rivalry, if you will. Rivalry, maybe. A little crosstown showdown. I ask all the time at USD, like, what do you call this thing? And they have a different answer every time.
A game.
It's a game. It's a game that USD obviously really wants to win. San Diego State USD basketball tonight at 7 o'clock. You can hear it on USDToros.com. I think we're the only people broadcasting it tonight. I will be on the call with Jack Cronin. Should be a fun time. Looking forward to that after I have football practice. A lot going on today in the Braden Surprenant world. Now, that being said, we can talk a little bit about the World Series last night. We're going to talk about that in a second. Great to see the Blue Jays win. Blue Jays did pretty well last night. The best news about that, here's my thing. I don't want to say I don't care who wins. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to have the Blue Jays win. You don't want to listen to like the Dodgers fans again for like another year, talking about how great the team they root for is. But I'm not like super, I can't say one way or the other. And it's funny, we're going to talk about the ratings later on in the show. The ratings for the television audience of the World Series. I mean, we're seeing some like low numbers and a decline for the World Series in the United States. It's up in Canada. Well, I wonder why. There are teams in the World Series. It's up in Japan. Well, I wonder why. A lot of their best athletes are playing for the Dodgers. But I think a lot of people watching the World Series are mostly just watching to hate watch the Dodgers at this point in time. I mean, I watch it. I'm not super into it. I told you guys that yesterday. Once your team gets eliminated, it's like, do I really want to watch this? Especially when like one of the teams you dislike is in it. But I watched it last night. I thought the Blue Jays played well. But the best news is it forces Game 6. There has to be a Game 6 now. That's the best part. Want to know why that's the best part? Because Game 6 is on Halloween. Gives me something to do on Halloween. I got a game to watch. Well, my family and I hand out candy in the neighborhood. Guess what's got to be on the front porch? The TV of the World Series. Could be great. This is what I need. I like having the World Series on or some type of college football, NFL, something on Halloween. And now you get it. Now you get World Series Game 6 on Halloween. They have to go back to Toronto. Are we going to hear Dave Roberts bitch and moan about flying to Toronto, flying internationally? Maybe. Here's another rooting interest for you, San Diego. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I talked about it briefly. I mean, obviously, you got Alejandro Kirk, who's from Tijuana. You also got Tyler Heineman. He lives at Scripps Ranch. That guy's a San Diego guy. He's actually my neighbor, which is kind of cool. So there you go. He's not a San Diego guy. He's from Pacific Palisades, but you know what? He moved down here, San Diego resident now. Does that count? Is that enough for us to root for him, Frank?
Fair enough.
Tyler Heineman lives in Scripps Ranch. Sounds good. We're going to claim him as our own. We got to find ways to root for the Blue Jays even more. Last night, a lot of good plays by the Blue Jays. But we got some Padres news yesterday as well. People wanted to, talk about it. And there's a couple of different angles we want to go with this. The news that we got from Kevin Acee yesterday, I think it's significant. It's about the Padres' managerial search. Now, here is what Kevin Acee is reporting. The Padres began their second round of interviews for their managerial opening on Tuesday by hosting Albert Pujols for several hours. It is not known how many other candidates remain, though the Padres have narrowed the search to whom they consider finalists. The manager's job became open when Mike Shildt retired earlier this month. The second round of interviews is being conducted in person after candidates and team officials spoke over Zoom last week. The Padres also interviewed bench coach Brian Esposito and pitching coach Ruben Niebla in the first round of interviews. It is not known who else has interviewed, as the Padres have prioritized secrecy in the search. Now, Albert Pujols was part of MLB Network's pregame coverage for Game 3 of the World Series on Monday and had been scheduled to be part of the coverage on Tuesday, but instead, multiple sources confirmed he was in San Diego. He goes on to talk about Pujols with whatever his managerial experience is, which is basically just the Dominican Winter League and the Caribbean Series. Goes on to talk about the 704 home runs that he has. And he also lists at the bottom of this particular article, to finish it out, the Padres do covet his experience and cachet with players built over a 22-year career that ended with his retirement in 2022. What does this all mean? It could be a couple of different things. As you look at it, and this is what you have to understand. I mean, he's obviously getting some information. Kevin Acey's getting information from people behind the scenes. They're trying to keep this thing secret as possible. And all we know about in terms of players, or should I say, in terms of managerial candidates getting a second interview, the only one that we publicly know is Albert Pujols. We've been told that they have interviewed internal candidates, Esposito, Ruben Niebla. But in terms of reported candidacy, all we know is Esposito and Niebla got a round of interviews in the first round, and Albert Pujols has gotten 2 interviews. That's all we really know. So a couple of things to unpack with this. Is this something that leak it to the media, just throwing us off our trail? Are they trying to figure out exactly what the public opinion is about Albert Pujols? I mean, there's a lot of different conspiracies you could throw out there with the news that Albert Pujols has gotten a second round of interviews. Is he the favorite? Is that why we know that he has had a second round of interviews? I mean, these are all interesting topics of conversation that you can read the tea leaves a little bit. People love the tea. People love the tea. But as of right now, as I look at this, and I keep saying it, and I've seen Padres fans see this too. I've seen them say it on Twitter, right? On X. This either is going to be the greatest hire ever or the worst hire ever. Hiring a guy like Albert Pujols. I think it's going to be a good hire. I think this is what the team needs right now. That doesn't mean it's going to work automatically. But if I had to pick what this team needs from a managerial candidate, it is a player like Albert Pujols. Getting an opportunity to manage. Having a guy that has been there and done that for a lot of different levels of the game, a lot of different levels of the sport, right? Knowing how to relate to rookies when he was a rookie, knowing how to relate to veterans as he was a veteran at the end of his career, knowing how to be a player that is expected to be the superstar and face of a franchise, like a Fernando and a Manny. Plus, he's relatable in a lot of different other aspects of his game and his life. That is what this team needs, in my opinion. Okay? That's what he needs. That's what this team needs. I think you'd be okay with the other candidates that would have been listed. You know, everybody is enamored with Ryan Flaherty. If he is this great baseball man that everybody says he is, that could be a good hire too. If you go the direction of Ruben Niebla and keeping some of the staff in place, I think that's a good direction as well. Brian Esposito has had some experience doing that. He's the bench coach. I mean, these are other candidates that are not bad hires. But it ain't a splash hire, let me tell you that. Albert Pujols would be a splash hire. And I think this is what this organization needs and what this team needs. I don't know. I just find it very interesting to see that this is the only guy that we have listed right now as a potential candidate in which he has gotten 2 interviews. Only external candidate that we even know about, by the way. There's been rumors that Ryan Flaherty, the Padres are interested in Ryan Flaherty. We haven't heard anything about Ryan Flaherty getting an interview. I think Albert Pujols is the perfect hire. I don't know if I agree with the comment in the chat saying Albert Pujols is the guy you hire for a fire sale. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you hire Albert Pujols and then send everybody else elsewhere? Sometimes, Frank, I just feel like Padres fans want the worst for their team sometimes. He couldn't win with Trout and Ohtani as a player when he was, 40 years old?
You don't remember the legendary games that Albert Pujols managed with Trout and Otani in the lineup? Do you not remember that?
Right. How old was Albert Pujols when he
My
was playing? I
God.
mean, come on. Are we for real right now? Are we for real? You know what? He couldn't win with Trout and Otani when he was, I don't know, 40 years old. By the way, when did Otani become a Angel? Was that 19?
I think so, yeah.
I got
Somewhere in there.
I think what, like 2019, 2020. I remember because I remember him playing in 2020. By the way, one of those years he was out for the season. He started in 2018. So Albert Pujols with Trout and Otani played 3 seasons. 18, 19, and 20. Otani only played, I mean, it's like the 2020 season was ridiculous in itself. How many games did Trout play in those times? I mean, like, we're going to blame 38, 39, and 40-year-old Albert Pujols for the reason why they weren't making a World Series run?
He hasn't managed exactly.
What, you can't what, managing in the Dominican doesn't count? Why not? Still managing.
I'm sorry. Hasn't managed exactly.
Oh, that's right. We haven't heard anything else about Albert Pujols either on any other candidacy, except for Baltimore, and Baltimore already hired somebody. I just find this to be interesting. And to me, again, he would be my number one candidate. I think that's a splash. But the fact that we're going through second round of interviews here, this thing should be getting wrapped up pretty soon, I would imagine, Frank.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's the way it's being reported, at least, is that this is Albert's job to lose at this point. He's the only outside candidate that we know of. He's the only one that we've known when he's getting the interview. We didn't know about Esposito and Niebla until after the fact. And he's the only one that we know of that's getting a second interview. So it's sounding like it's sounding like it's his job to lose at this point.
We don't know anybody else in the second round either, because Jocelyn's asking who else in the second. We don't know.
He's the only one.
He's the only one that has been released. At least his name. Why? Because Kevin Acee mentioned they're trying to do this in secrecy. Well, why is Albert Pujols' name being mentioned? See, that's the interesting caveat to all of this. Why is or is it just noticeable because he's on television and he wasn't there on Tuesday when he was supposed to be there on Tuesday and instead he was in San Diego? Is it because people ask questions?
Could be.
I mean, he's the only name that we know about. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we'll talk more about this. We'll talk about the World Series last night. And later on this hour, we're going to talk about some potential free agent matches for the San Diego Padres. We're just getting started on a Wednesday. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. All guests on 97.3 The Fan join us via the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. A lot of negative comments in the chat.
I don't get it, man. There's sometimes you have to be excited for your team. Like that's, and I know that the chat isn't the overarching.
No, it's not.
It's not the popular opinion, but my God, it's okay to root for your team. It's okay to root for them to have success. And when they don't have success, it's not that you're an idiot. It's that you're a fan. You want that success just as bad as they do.
Some people in the chat were talking about like, well, every reason why you've mentioned why he should be the manager, you should make him the hitting coach. This goes into the situation of, remember we talked about like, we saw the rumor out there about how the Padres could hire Pujols as the manager and then make a bench coach, a guy that used to manage, that knows how to do it to help him with the thing. And your argument, remember, was, well, why would they listen to the manager? They just listen to the bench coach. I think that would be the case if you hired Albert Pujols to be your hitting coach or an assistant. I think they'd all listen to him instead of the guy in charge.
Exactly.
He's too high profile of a guy for him to be like the whatever. And sometimes when you get guys like that, sometimes they don't have as much say, right? Because they're not the manager and they got to do things a certain way. It's like watching Mark McGwire be the whatever coach he was for the Padres. Bench coach, right? I think he was the bench coach. I don't think he was ever the hitting coach. I think people assumed he helped with the hitting, but I don't think he was the hitting coach. I'm pretty sure he was the bench coach for like Andy Green or something like that. We can look it up.
Yeah, he was the bench coach.
Yeah, the bench coach.
From 2015 until he stepped down in 2018 after the 2018 season.
Somebody else goes to the chat like,
oh, no, he was.
Was he the hitting coach first?
No, he moved to the hitting coach. Wait. Mark McGwire was the bench coach for the San Diego Padres from 2015 until he stepped down in October 2018 to spend more time with his family. He was a highly regarded hitting coach during his 3 seasons with the team. So which one was it? Google AI?
He was the bench coach. I'm pretty sure he was the bench coach. I can't get this is why you can't do stuff on AI, dude.
Why could I just typed into Google?
I know. Then you get the AI stuff. God, this freaking screen, man. Unbelievable.
He was named the bench coach. No, he's the bench coach. That's according to Wikipedia, which is just as reliable a source as Google AI.
I love when they change the Wikipedia pages of the teams that own the stadiums after they win.
Yes.
So funny.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit more reputable of a source, CBS. Let's see what they have to say here.
Anyway.
You want to know what CBS said?
He was a hitting coach?
CBS said to unlock the full power of CBSSports.com, disable your ad blocker.
There it is. There it is. All right. I the thing that's like crazy to me is like sometimes I can stumble upon things on Baseball Reference and then I can't go find it. He could have been the hitting coach at a different place, like Matt said.
Forget it.
Mark
McGwire was the general manager at this point.
My screen goes black every 3 seconds anyway, so it's basically a waste.
Yeah, Mark McGwire was the guy AJ Preller answered to at this point. We'll go with that.
That's what I said.
just go with that. I'm sick of looking for it.
All right, enough of that. Enough of that. I can't do any research on this computer anyway without it just going black screen, black screen, black screen, and then the engineers come in here and it doesn't do it once. Crazy.
That's what happens when your car makes that funny noise.
Until it doesn't.
Right up until you take it to get serviced.
All right, let's talk about Albert Pujols a little bit more. So, Matt in the chat talked about if your stars can't go out there and do it by themselves, you have bigger problems. I'm telling you, you got big problems. When have we seen in the last 5 or 6 years, Frank, since we've seen these stars where they have carried the team and they didn't need the extra juice? I mean, how many times do we see Fernando get into problems and then he's got to call his dad?
Yeah.
Seriously.
He did it a couple times this year.
Yeah. And then it was just quick fix and then back to what he was. Yeah, you kind of need that with some of these guys. You've tried basically everything else. Am I mistaken there? You've tried the rookie manager. That was a placeholder. You tried the young up-and-coming whiz guy, right, that Jace Tingler was. That didn't work. You tried the veteran manager who's a little bit laid back in Bob Melvin, and then you just tried the red-ass manager and Mike Schilt. You've kind of tried them all.
Yep.
The only one you haven't tried yet is a former really good player that really hasn't managed before. I'm telling you, you're kind of running out of ideas here to try to make this team better or to make them perform at a higher level. The reality of the situation is, yes, the Padres stars have to do better. But to me, you need to get somebody that's going to get those stars better. That's what you need. And so that's why I think he's the best fit. He is the only candidate that we know about that has gotten a second interview. Not to say he's the only candidate that's gotten a second interview. He's the only one we know about. The interesting thing to me in this entire article, and it was short, was 1, we know Albert Pujols is getting a second interview. 2, the Padres are doing everything in secret, which is fine. I don't mind that. I'd rather have them get everything that they need to get done behind the scenes and not leak out any information. But why is the Albert Pujols information getting leaked out? Or are people just asking a lot of questions about him because he's a high-profile guy? That's the question. You have an answer on that?
No.
What do you? I mean,
that's.
Or do you think he's the front runner?
I think he would have to be the front runner at this point. He's the highest profile name. He's the one that would bring the most cachet as far as notoriety and as far as excitement and hype for 2026. I think he would. He would have to be the front runner. Like I said, I think it's his job to lose at this point. If you're not I mean, it's fine that we're not getting any details out of these interviews. You rarely do anyway.
I don't need any details.
Yeah, but it's odd that you're getting no information about any other candidate.
Yeah, even the internal ones have been like, it wasn't Ruben Niebla gets interviewed. It was an aside.
No,
he got interviewed a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it was, oh, by the way, Niebla got interviewed too.
Yeah. Albert Pujols is scheduled to get interviewed on Wednesday. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then they already interviewed Brian Esposito. Oh, I guess they interviewed him already.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what the situation has been. Steph brings up a good point. Who else is out there besides Pujols that you would really want anyway?
No one.
I mean, that's kind of been the name that we've talked about a lot. We haven't said Dave Martinez, right?
And that's also the thing too, where you're getting so hyped up about Albert Pujols, and then our new manager, Ryan Flaherty. Wait, what? Huh?
That's the other thing too.
Hold
it's
on.
like let's just talk about it from the conspiracy side, right? The conspiracy side of like, well, why is his name getting leaked and nobody else's name is getting leaked right now? At this point in time, with all of the coverage on Albert Pujols,
you've gotten people so hyped up and psyched about Pujols.
And I think, and here's the deal, I think a lot of people, I think, want to see him be the Padres manager. I think a decent amount of fans have been swayed to, all right, let's go with Pujols, let's ride. I would guess that like 75 to 80% of the fan base, this is a guess based on people I talk around town, like most of these people are probably not in the chat. 75 to 80% of the fan base is probably wanting or cool with Albert Pujols being the manager. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty fair to say. I mean, there'd be a handful of people that, call into our show. Let's say like, no, what about this guy? Like, we had a guy talk about Joe Madden the other day. Like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, with Rod, you can't talk to Don Mattingly yet because he's currently in a World Series.
He's still in the World Series. So they'd have to wait for him to finish anyway. And maybe that's what these other teams are doing. But at the same time, so I look at that and the situation with Albert Pujols is now everybody has bought into. Are you laughing at KG's deal?
Yes.
No. Everybody has bought into a potential scene of Albert Pujols. I mean, you've seen the AI images of him in a Padres uniform. You've seen the AI video of them announcing him at a press conference. I mean, let me ask you this question. How disappointed would the Padres fan base be if they announced Ryan Flaherty or somebody else as the manager after all this Pujols stuff?
I think the only one that would be halfway acceptable is Niebla. That's it. That's the only
I would
other
accept
guy.
that.
That is you have narrowed, because of what you have done as far as promotion for Albert Pujols, you have narrowed your fan tolerance for this announcement to Pujols and Niebla. That is it. Anyone else is going to be met with vitriol and fire and is not going to get a fair shot. Is from the fans' eyes.
Correct.
Everything that they do is going to be scrutinized to the nth degree. And I'm sure we'll be guilty of it as well if that is the case. I'm sure we'll get in with the fans' ear because remember, we're your guys' voice. That doesn't mean we're going to say all of your opinions, but we are your voice. So I'm sure we'll get caught up in that and judge the new guy unfairly if it's not Pujols or Niebla.
I think the Pope Leo stuff is hilarious.
Yeah, that's great.
Number one, baseball fan. Number two, matches the brand. I mean, Padres, Pope. I mean, come on. Guy's already the mascot.
White Sox fan. He's used to being little brother.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. KG's on to something here. Have we considered asking him if he wants to do that? He can manage from Rome.
Eject ownership money. There it is.
There you go. To me,
would you really want a donation plate going up and down the rows every single game though?
If it gets me Kyle Schwarber, sure. If that means Pete Alonso's a Padre, sounds good. Yeah, a collection plate. Here you go. Throw a couple bucks in there. help the funding out. Got to find our way.
It's the human fund.
That's right. I just, because somebody was like, are they going to just hire him because of the hype now? No, I don't think so. I think he's a serious candidate.
Yes.
I think they really want him to be the manager. They obviously have a lot of interest. You wouldn't bring him back in a second interview if he bombed the first one or if you weren't interested in the second one. And I think the public opinion is a little bit of a extra thing. I don't want the Padres hiring somebody just based on public opinion, but at the same time, like maybe they wanted to see what it was like, see what people would say. That's why his name's out there. It could also be he's such a high profile guy that people are asking questions why he's not on World Series coverage.
You can't ignore it.
Where is he? Right? So to me, I think Albert Pujols is still the best fit. Maybe they haven't had too many external interviews. I mean, remember when the last time they did this, they're interviewing guys like Joe Girardi and all of these, retread managers that, have had success at times, but I feel like the Padres are done with those guys. I think it's time for something new. I think you got to try something new if you're the San Diego Padres when it comes to your manager. And to me, it's somebody that is a player. And he doesn't have managerial experience at the major league level or professional baseball in the United States. That doesn't mean he's never managed a game before. Guy's been around the game a long time. He brings 22 years of big league experience. I think that goes a long way. And in this day and age of baseball, it's not X's and O's at a manager spot. As much as a lot of old managers want to say, it's pushing the right buttons. No, it's getting your players to play at a high level and finding what makes them tick.
And not just
being able to manage the clubhouse.
And not just playing 22 years in the league, playing 22 years in the league at the highest level of stardom. So he knows that pressure and he knows that influence that he had when he played that Manny, Fernando, and Jackson are starting to get now. And Xander, for that matter, as well.
C20 Moreno, that was a joke because somebody brought up adding the Pope as the manager.
Yes.
No, they don't actually need a collection plate. It was a joke. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation about Albert Pujols a little bit, managerial search. Here's the other thing. Have we heard anything about any other managerial hirings?
Baltimore hired their guy.
Hired somebody
San Francisco hired their guy.
But I mean, like rumors of guys being interviewed?
Nope.
Have we heard anything? All quiet on the Western Front. There's a lot of other teams that need managers still. But to me, I don't think the Padres have any competition for Albert Pujols, but we'll keep you updated on everything that we know about the other managerial searches, plus some good external free agent fits for the San Diego Padres this offseason. We'll talk about that as well as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. You guys are funny. This hour on 97 through the fans brought to you by Toyota of Poway, voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer. Buy USA today with APRs as low as 0% and tons of new Toyotas on the ground. No tricks, only treats during the Trucktober sales event happening now only at Toyota of Poway or online at toyotaofpoway.com in the heart of San Diego. A lot of people would like to see Albert Pujols be the Padres manager just in case there's a scuffle with Dave Roberts. So funny. People are funny. All right. Have we seen anything else on managerial candidates? I haven't seen anything else.
Adam, who are the Braves talking to?
I mean, there's an ever-going page on MLB.com that updates you on a bunch of stuff. What we do know is there's 4 managers that have been hired. Skip Schumacher was hired first by the Texas Rangers. Kurt Suzuki hired second by the Angels. The next day, Tony Vitello was hired as the Giants manager, and then Craig Albernaz was hired as the Orioles manager. I don't even know who Craig Albernaz is. Did you know who that was before yesterday?
Yeah, he's that one guy.
That one guy.
Did that one thing.
That one guy.
Time.
Teams with managerial vacancies. Listed in order of most recent update. Braves, Padres, Nationals, Twins, Rockies. I forgot the Rockies still need a manager.
Do they though?
They should just make Dinger the manager.
They need a team more than they need a manager.
All right. Here's the latest update on the Braves. Okay. So what happened was with Atlanta, Brian Snitker informed the Braves that he was not pursuing a new contract to extend his managerial career. He will step into an advisory role. Next year will mark his 50th straight season with the org. During Snitker's managerial tenure, the club made 7 straight playoff appearances from 18 to 24, including 6 consecutive division titles, won a World Series in 21. Braves have only had 3 managers since 91, Bobby Cox, Freddie Gonzalez, and Brian Snitker. Latest news we got on the Braves managerial search, Dodgers bench coach Danny Lehman continues to be the front runner for the Braves managerial vacancy, according to Mark Bowman of MLB.com, who covers the Braves on a daily basis. With the Dodgers currently playing in the World Series, the Braves could wait until the Fall Classic ends to conclude their search. Tigers bench coach George Lombard, Cubs bench coach Ryan Flaherty, and Dodgers first base coach Chris Woodward are 3 others who could be considered per Bowman. Meanwhile, there hasn't been any sense that Mark DeRosa, David Ross, or John Gibbons are candidates. Any of those candidates Padre candidates? Have we heard any of those names besides Flaherty?
No.
Definitely none of the Dodger guys. It's an interesting deal. The latest we have on the Padres from MLB.com is probably the latest that we have already mentioned. Albert Pujols attended Game 3 of the World Series in L.A. on his way to an interview with the Padres for the managerial opening, according to MLB Network insider John Heyman. Heyman wrote in the New York Post that Pujols, quote, is considered a serious candidate for the role. Cubs bench coach Ryan Flaherty, Rangers special assistant Nick Hundley, former Mariners manager Scott Service, Padres bench coach Brian Esposito, and Padres pitching coach Ruben Niebla are among other candidates. That's according to John Heyman. What about the Nick Hundley situation? The Giants really wanted to hire Nick Hundley. Mm-hmm. It was his job. And he didn't want to move up there. He lives here. He lives in San Diego. And as a special assistant to the Texas Rangers, he's allowed to do that from San Diego. He's got kids that he wants to be in their lives, which is totally fine. Who wouldn't want that? But, like, is Nick Hundley getting interviewed right now? Do we think Nick Hundley is secretly getting interviewed again? The Padres are secretly putting this thing together, which is fine with me. They can keep that as much as they want. Nick Hundley. Let me ask you this. I mean, let's go through those names, right? Winning the press conference. It's not about winning the press conference, but winning games, Frank.
Yes.
There's still going to be a situation, though, regardless of who the Padres hire, that Padres fans are going to be like, really? So with all this hype around Albert Pujols, right, Frank?
Yeah.
I'm going to go through this list. Padres hire Ryan Flaherty. People excited?
No.
For the press conference?
No, that's what I said last segment.
They're not.
There's one guy. There's Pujols, and then there's the palatable option, which is Niebla. That's it. That's what you've done with this.
You're ruining this exercise. Nick Hundley, do anything for you?
No.
Seems like a great guy. He's a great Padre when he's here. Lives here in San Diego. I just like, how many backup catchers need to be hired as managers? Elo asked that question the other day. Does it have to be a backup catcher, a former backup catcher?
Yes.
That to me seems to be like the only people that they hire as managers. Former backup catchers, not starting catchers, former backup catchers. Sure, Nick Hundley started a handful of times. He was the backup to Posey up in San Francisco.
It's the knowledge of the game inside and out, knowing every part of the game without that pesky playing of the game getting in the way.
Josh Bard available?
No, Josh Bard was a starter, I believe.
I know he was. So was Ramon Hernandez. Trying to think of like former Padre backup catchers that we can hire. He doesn't do it for you. Scott Service. No. I'd be out on that. Brian Esposito. I wouldn't be like upset. I'd be like, okay.
Matt Duvall, why you got to put that evil on us?
Oh my God.
Why is that?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Thing
No,
you
foul.
have to put in
Foul.
the ether?
Foul. Delete comment. Foul.
He draws the foul.
Ugh.
Why do you have to put that in the ether, dude?
Go Aztecs is onto something. Martin Maldonado. I could see that being the case. The only as you mentioned, I agree with you, Frank. The only manager at this point in time with all the hype around Pujols, and maybe we're maybe we're a little responsible for that too.
We definitely are.
But the all the hype around Pujols potentially be the manager. Padres go, we're hiring Ruben Niebla. I don't think they win the press conference, but I think a lot of Padres fans would be like, okay,
fine.
All right.
We roll.
I'm okay with that. Benito Santiago. There you go. Your Victoria Alba.
All-star.
Your Victoria Alba.
That's a name pull, Austin. Good on you there. That's a name pull.
That is great. I gotta go look up. Drop some other ones. Padres catchers. These are all starters, though. Derek Norris, Padres manager. Mike Piazza, what's he up to? He's a starter too.
Yeah, he was. He became a Padre the year that I moved here. Actually, he followed me.
He did. Did he give you any pizza recommendations?
No.
Oh, lame. All right, Austin Nola. Hey, Ben Davis.
All right.
I think the Pujols thing. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So to me, that's kind of where we're at right now on the Pujols situation. You go through this list of like all these candidates. Like look at the Nationals, right? Like Dave Martinez is gone. I haven't heard anything about Dave Martinez.
No.
Padres don't hire Albert Pujols. They hired Dave Martinez. They win the press conference. You excited for that season? I mean, he's managed personalities
I'm excited
before.
For the season. He's managed personalities. He's won a World Series. I would be excited for the hire. I don't think they win the press conference because people don't know who he is.
Correct. Nationals have hired Paul Taboni, who most recently served as the Red Sox senior vice president, assistant general manager to run their baseball ops. Among Taboni's first orders of business with the Nationals, deciding the club's next manager. John Heyman reports to the New York Post that former Orioles manager Brandon Hyde has interviewed with the Nationals.
That's cool.
According to Andrew Golden of the Washington Post, the club also interviewed Cairo and Guardians associate manager Craig Albernaz, who just got the job in Baltimore. That's about it. Twins latest. Twins have narrowed their managerial search to 4 candidates. James Rosen, Pirates manager Derek Shelton, former Pirates manager, Mariners manager Scott Service, and Cubs bench coach Ryan Flaherty. Last news was the Rockies. Before hiring a new manager, the Rockies will first set their sights on finding a new executive to head up their baseball ops. Take that for what it's worth. They're narrowing that down as well. The latest update we got was on October 22nd. Now we're getting all of the former Padre backup catchers in the chat. It's great. It's phenomenal.
Wiki Gonzalez. Do you want to know where I learned about Wiki Gonzalez?
Yeah, I do actually.
Remember the old baseball card game, MLB Showdown?
Yes.
He was one of the catchers I pulled in one of my first packs. That was how I know his name.
Wiki Gonzalez. Yeah, there you go. What about Jason Kendall? Was he even a catcher?
One of the Kendalls was with the Pirates, no?
I thought, well, Jason Kendall played for the Pirates.
Yeah.
I don't know if
there was a.
Was it Fred Kendall?
I remember there was a Kendall catcher.
Bring Rod Barajas back.
Yeah.
What about Francisco Cervelli?
Michael Barrett?
Since we can only hire catchers, apparently. Josh Bard. I had Josh Bard earlier. Good one. Mike Piazza. Your Victoria Alba was good.
That was a fantastic pull.
Here's one. John Baker. Padres catcher, 2012.
I think his
Rene
parents
Rivera.
were like, who? Wait a minute.
Rene Rivera. Bring him home. Brad Osmus.
Remember Rene Rivera?
Ruben Rivera. 98 Padres. Not a
Okay.
catcher. Not a catcher. Just saying.
Antonio Jimenez, no, you would not like Aaron Boone. I can tell you that you would not like Aaron Boone.
Why not? Because he can't win with the Yankees.
He can't manage.
I'm surprised that
to save his life.
I'm surprised they didn't fire him. I guess they still can.
Everyone is stunned that they.
I can't believe it. Cashman still has a job too. Hire the Sanchez. Anyway, when do you think they will hire a manager?
It'd probably be next week.
I bet you they do it tomorrow. World Series off day. I could see him doing it tomorrow. We don't know if Pujols is the beginning of the second round of interviews or the end of. Are they going to go third round of interviews with these guys?
I mean, it would make sense with everything that's gone on this weekend. I mean, we have tomorrow's show pretty much set in stone, ready to go. So that would completely screw up our show. So yeah, I could see it happening. That goes along the lines of the off season so far.
Well, as talked about before off air, Sam's out of town, and Adam is about to be out of town. You know for a fact they're hiring during that time.
Right when it's the most inconvenient for everybody.
I can't wait to get those phone calls. They hired a manager. We're going to need you to get down to Petco Park.
Thanks, we saw.
I think if it's not if they're not going to do it today, and they ain't doing it Friday, not on World Series days.
No.
I don't think they're going to do it on the maybe Kevin Acee will report or Dennis Lynn will report something over the weekend. But to me, like,
early
if they announce something this week, it's going to be tomorrow. And if it ain't tomorrow, it's going to be next week. I mean, because they got to start getting on the same page with a lot of different things right now. And a lot of those things we're going to talk about. The bench depth, rotation depth, power, frontline starter, we'll discuss in the 11 o'clock hour. San Diego Someone Sports Station, 97 to the Fan. $11 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. All guests on 97.3 The Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys help with good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We have a packed Thursday, do we not?
Yeah, we do. Perfect timing for a manager announcement.
Oh, boy. We need that next week.
No, we definitely
It's a nice little Tuesday Wednesday. Like tomorrow's show, recapping San Diego State USD.
Yes.
Because I will be there. I might have to make Frank listen to it. Your week to listen to it. So you can pick, so we can have a conversation about it. All the season ticket holders can go. It's great. It's going to be a nice little crowd there tonight. 7 o'clock tip, Viejas Arena, USD, San Diego State. Last exhibition for both teams before they start next week. College basketball season opens up on Tuesday. I will have women's basketball next Monday.
Attaboy.
I think they play Bethesda?
Good. Wow, dude. Way to not know the schedule.
They do. They play Bethesda. I get it confused with the men's schedule.
Way to get lucky.
Because I knew that Tuesday, USD men's basketball plays Occidental.
Yes. I knew that as well.
You did?
Yes, because I wrote that in the promo tweet for the coach we had on.
Next week. Oh, for Lavin?
Yes.
Next week, my broadcast schedule is long. I have USD women's basketball against Bethesda on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I have USD men's basketball versus Occidental on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I have USD men's basketball versus Idaho State on Friday. And I have USD volleyball versus St. Mary's at noon on the 8th of November. And USD men's soccer versus Gonzaga at 7. 1, 2, 3,
Sounds
5
like
games. That's
sounds
great
like
week.
Sounds like that show on the 9th is going to be a quiet day for you.
You mean the Sunday the 9th?
Oh, that's never mind.
It'd be a Sunday the 9th. You mean the 10th? Yeah, I'm going to need you to book that. Are we off Veterans Day? I don't even remember if we are or not.
I don't know.
That'd be clutch. That'd be clutch. It's the best time of the year to get some for the play-by-play broadcasting. You get volleyball, soccer, men's and women's, and both basketball teams all going at the exact same time. It's right now, and it's like February when baseball and softball start. Please announce a new manager. I just want to see Frank explode. Are we saying that like them announcing a new manager tomorrow when we have a packed show is going to make Frank explode? There's a lot of things that would make Frank explode. I think that would be very low on the list.
Well,
sitting in traffic, listening to the New York Mets get eliminated from the playoffs would probably make Frank explode.
No, it honestly wouldn't, because I've come to expect it now.
Which one of your sports teams getting eliminated in the playoffs while you sit in agonizing traffic would make you explode?
None of them.
None of them.
No, because again, I've think of the teams I'm a fan of, dude.
I understand that.
I've come to expect it out of all of them.
No, stop it. I watch you watch soccer. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, there's no playoffs in European soccer, though.
What if it's a Champions League elimination?
Oh, you weren't here for that, were you?
No.
No, you were not here for that.
For what? For
You
Inter
were in,
Milan?
yeah, you were in
Yeah, I
Italy
was
for
actually
that.
in Italy
Yeah, you were actually
with
in
all
Italy
the
for
Milan
that.
fans. They were miserable.
I shut the game off after the third goal.
You know what? That's probably what the people that
Yeah.
sat across from me at dinner should have done. Because they had the little Italian family, had it on the little iPad.
Wait a minute. There was
at
a
the
little
table.
Italian family at the restaurant in Italy.
Well, it's tourist time. The little Italian Inter Milan family had the iPad up, and I was keeping an eye on it, and I was like, ooh, that is a lot of goals for not the Inter Milan team. Let me tell you.
No, Augie, that's not being a real fan. That is accepting defeat.
Not a real fan.
That is
you have to go
called
with the
accepting
agonizing
defeat.
pain as you go through it. Elimination in the World Series? What if you're one
That
out away
hurts.
from winning the World Series?
Yeah, no, that would hurt.
And then it was a collapse
That would hurt.
to unreal, like 5-run lead with 2 outs in the 9th inning, and you lose it on a walk-off in traffic. You explode.
Yeah, I would explode, but on the other hand, I'd be like, well, if any team was going to do it,
It's the Mets.
it would be the New York Metropolitans, yes.
And then there's the Jets.
Yep.
And then there's the Jets. What if it was? Here's the other thing too: is I've realized that Frank gets upset with traffic when it's like traffic caused by people that are looky-loos. So that would be the situation. That would be a way that Frank would explode.
Or like the traffic that was this morning on the 805, which is people not knowing how to merge 2 lanes into one. Where the 94, where you get like near the 94,
yeah.
the 805 and the 94, that merges, the right lanes merge from 2 to 1. And I remember coming in here one day and saying, did we give society too much credit to think we would be able to merge lanes without causing a 3-mile backup?
I try not to bitch as much on this. People don't like when we bitch about stuff, even though we're trying. We relate to the audience.
Exactly.
I feel like you can understand.
Trying to relate to you guys.
Yeah, right. We have the worst commute time. You want to know why? You want to know why we have the worst commute time?
Mm-hmm.
Because around like end of the 8 o'clock hour into the early 9 o'clock hour, that is the worst time to be on the road. You want to know why that's the worst time about being on the road? Because you have, now we're not late because we start at 10. Not a lot of people's jobs start at 10. A lot of our work can be done before then at home, which is great. We're kind of hybrid workers as it is. Just we have to go to work every day. The 9 o'clock hour is for people that are running late.
That have accepted that they're late, so now they're just going to milk it.
No. It's people that are running late, so they're driving like a bat out of hell, mixed with people that are retired or don't have a job and have nothing to do. And they're just driving. They're just driving.
Go Aztecs.
They're just driving.
No,
I
we
do
don't.
have a great commute after work.
No,
I
you
will
have
say
a great.
that.
You
I
have a
great
great commute either way because you're going against the way of traffic
but
every way you go.
There are speedies and people that are driving like 40 miles an hour.
I am going with,
on the freeway.
I am going with traffic each way.
Not my fault you live in a place that's popular, dude.
Listen, dude, I'm not saying that. There is traffic at 2 o'clock when we leave.
There's more traffic. Yeah, if I leave at 2:30 or 2:45, I'm gonna run into traffic going home. Even if I don't have practice, I'm running into some type of traffic. The only time I don't have traffic, honestly, is when I drive to Cathedral from this spot, because on the 805, I'm going opposite. But if I'm driving straight home, like not in the football season, I don't have to go to Cathedral anymore, I will get stuck in 15 traffic and then Pomerado Road traffic, which is rough.
And I'm actually going to be up on Pomerado Road because I'm getting stabbed by like 20 needles today.
You keep talking
my
about
allergy
that.
test. Yeah, I know, because I'm
Where is
not
the allergy
looking forward
test?
to it.
Which part of Pomerado Road?
It's right.
Is it the first one at Miramar or the second one?
No, it's Pomerado Road.
There's 2 parts of it. Which exit is it? The
Yours.
first one? Oh, mine. Okay. The Miramar one.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Because Pomerado Road goes like this all the way
No,
up
I
to
know.
that.
No, it's
old
your
394.
It's your exit. It's on the opposite side. Like the car dealer is there. Like you go across the bridge, you go the other way, not your way.
That'd be Miramar.
Yeah. You go that way, there's the car dealership, and then there's this gray building that's across the street from the Shell station.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The one next to the mobile over there? That
Mm-hmm.
people actually use that building? It doesn't look like anybody's ever in that building when I'm getting gas. It looks abandoned.
Yeah, because there's nowhere to park.
You park underneath it. Is there parking underneath the
No,
building?
there's not. There's an alleyway behind it before you get into all of what if I remember correctly, is a bunch of storage units.
A lot of storage units on Miramar Way. Justin, I always hit traffic too in my hallway. Rough commute to my desk.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Jerk, yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah,
Skyline chili. Speaking of Skyline chili, I'm making chili for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
We have all this we have a meat grinder. This is where people's heads are gonna just go with their bonk. We have a meat grinder, and so we what I do now is when I make when I made the brisket, I trimmed off a lot of extra stuff, and then when we get steaks, we trim up the ribeyes and the beef tenderloin, all that stuff. So we have all this extra meat in the freezer for a time like right now. So last night I grinded about 6 pounds of ground beef. That took forever. I was swimming in it. I was like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? I needed 3 pounds for the chili that I'm making on Friday. And then I had like a pound of ground up beef tenderloin, which is, way too nice to be ground beef. But you know what? It is what it is. So I had to make that. Since I didn't have space for it, I just immediately turned it into taco meat, which was great, by the way.
May as well.
Delicious. And I still have another 3 pounds of ground beef now that I had to throw in the freezer of all ground up. Some of the stuff I couldn't save. But that poor KitchenAid worked its ass off last night. Let me tell you. That KitchenAid.
For no pay.
That KitchenAid, was asked to carry the rock 35 times. And man, did that KitchenAid grind and pound its way to a great victory last night over the meat. Rest up. It was probably sore today. It needs to ice up.
Okay.
Phrasing. I told you, you weirdos were gonna get into a different mindset. That poor KitchenAid. You want to make brownies? No, KitchenAid needs a couple days off. The grinding and pounding of the meat. Phrasing. By the KitchenAid last night to make chili. Too much. All right. Enough nonsense. Let's get into some important Padres offseason needs with free agency. They enter a pivotal offseason, talented returning core, playoff level potential. Here are the 5 things that the Padres need to address this offseason when we come back. San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Can't count on much, but you can always count on NFL Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. I question my loyalty to this dang show, Justin says. You know what? Where else are you going to get KitchenAid talk?
Not going to lie, you did kind of go hard in the paint with him.
On the Ohio State stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. He wants to try to get me with the Brandon talk. You know what? That doesn't trigger me as much as spelling Braden incorrectly. Braidan. Bray.
Well, at least now no one in the chat's going to do that now.
Well, it's better than Brandon. Maybe it's reversed. Just wait for when Ohio State beats Michigan. Watch out, Michigan fans. Let me tell you. I'm there to stir the pot. We had a very important tweet from Magic Johnson before we dive into this Padre stuff.
We did. My whole world, my whole way of thinking for playoff series is shaken.
Magic Johnson had this to say on Twitter. It's very engaging. With the series being 2-2, Game 5 is very important. Whichever team wins takes control of the series. Thanks, Magic. Back to you, Frank.
I never thought of it that way.
Never, ever?
No.
Wow.
I mean, that's deep.
It is. It absolutely is. Anyway.
You want to bet on it?
No, I don't. Let's get to the Padres' offseason needs with those free agents that we mentioned before. So we talked about yesterday a lot of the Padres' free agency in terms of the players that are former Padres now. So let's talk about what they need to really put together. The Padres enter a pivotal offseason with a talented returning core and a playoff level potential, but several pressing holes to fill if they want to stay among the National League's elite in 2026. Be categorized in 5 different areas. 1 being the most important, down to 5. Number 5, bench depth. Well, the Padres starting lineup looks mostly set with Freddie Fermin behind the plate, Ramon Laureano likely returning in left field, and Gavin Sheets anchoring a platoon role. The bench remains thin. Free agents Elias Diaz and Jose Iglesias leave open holes at backup catcher and infield. We did not talk about them yesterday because they were not listed as one of Jim Bowden's top 50 free agents. You have an infield mix with Will Wagner, who was acquired from Toronto. He probably wishes he was with Toronto right now, right? Hey, you know what? Will Wagner win a World Series. He can get a World Series ring this year. A couple of wins here by Toronto. He offers some flexibility, but more help is needed in the infield. And bench bat-wise, Bryce Johnson can fill an outfield reserve role, yet the team still needs a reliable offensive weapon off the bench, someone like the 2025 breakout version of Gavin Sheets. The thing is with the Gavin Sheets situation, right, Frank? The Padres have done this a couple of times now where they bring in a guy like Gavin Sheets to be kind of a bench bat. And then all of a sudden he becomes one of the starters, and now you have no bench guys. Because the guys you brought in to be starters end up not being good. And they get DFA'd. That's happened multiple times. The other time I remember is when Seth Smith was acquired by the Padres. Remember Seth Smith? Anybody remember Seth Smith?
I do remember Seth Smith.
Seth Smith was acquired by the Padres to be the big bat off the bench. He pinch hit late in the game against the Dodgers, and the opening night game, the first game of the Major League Baseball season at Petco Park, he hits a home run against Brian Wilson. Remember Brian Wilson? The former Giant reliever that had the beard and everything like that, and he was doing Taco Bell commercials, and he was like the height of whatever. Then he goes to the Dodgers. Seth Smith ended his career. He hit that home run against Brian Wilson, and then you never heard of Brian Wilson ever again. And the Padres won that game, and then all of a sudden Seth Smith was a star. They became the 3-hitter He became the 3 hitter for the Padres. Gavin Sheets last year wasn't even sure he was going to make the team. Didn't even know he was going to make the team. He became one of the best bats in the lineup. And so they added him to the starting spot. You got to be able to find some bench pieces that can fill the void of having a guy come off the bench. Who did the Padres have late in the game this past year that you're like, need that guy to come up here big, the big hit, that you feel confident in that could just lose the ball? Nobody.
Iglesias, maybe?
But he's not
a home run
pop guy. You need a pop guy off the bench.
No.
You need some pop coming off the bench. You need veterans coming off the bench.
Ryan O'Hearn.
Now, for $12 million a year, I'd rather have O'Hearn in the starting lineup. And I'd rather have Sheets come off the bench.
That was more of a knock of him being on the bench.
Yeah, that's all right. Arias is batting second. Yes. That's what I would have. You got to have a bench that's got, like, to me, the bench has to have guys. You have to have a fourth outfielder that you can have come in defensively. You need an infielder that can kind of play every spot. You need a power bat, and then you need a backup catcher. You have 4 bench pieces, right? If I'm not mistaken. Gives you 13 position players. Yes. So that's how I do. That's what you need. It sounds like you have a utility infielder in Wagner. He could play a bunch of different spots. You have a fourth outfielder in Bryce Johnson. You need a backup catcher, which will probably be Luis Camposano. And then you need a power bat. Preferably a veteran power bat. Is that bench enough, though, for the Padres? Would you like to have a better outfielder than Bryce Johnson? I mean, Bryce Johnson, I thought, did a really good job. Bryce Johnson had a pretty good year at the dish. I think he's a good outfielder. I think Bryce Johnson's part of the equation of the bench next year. Now, from a utility infielder spot, I feel like you would need you might need more than Will Wagner, potentially. But that's how I would lay out the bench. We got an update on the managerial search, Frank.
Oh.
Nick Hundley, Ruben Niebla, and Albert Pujols in the running to be Padres manager. There you go. Remember
so Hundley has been
what did we talk about in the last segment? 2 segments ago. Nick Hundley.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious to see how much Nick Hundley was actually getting interviewed. What's the name of this show? Right but too early? Right but too early? Just saying. That's interesting. We'll have to take a look at that in a second. In terms of the bench piece, though, again, that's how I do the bench. You need a utility infielder, you need a fourth outfielder, you need a backup catcher, and you need a power bat. The Padres don't have the power bat. Do you feel confident, Frank, in Will Wagner being the utility infielder next year for the Padres?
More or less. I didn't see too much of him, but I would like to see more during spring training, but other than that, I don't have a problem with him at the moment. No.
I think that's okay. I think he'd be fine. But I'd bring in a couple of veteran guys too, like a Jose Iglesias on a simple contract, and if he needs more than like a couple $1 million and you let him walk, I'd go with a handful of those kind of veteran guys and see who wins that battle. And then I think you do the same thing with Bryce Johnson, and then I think you got to just find a power bat for the bench. What's going on?
No, we have an old friend back.
Oh, he's back. Isn't he a volunteer like at Cal State San Marcos or something? Somebody's posted his LinkedIn on the chat yesterday, outing him for no reason. He comes in guns blazing today.
And again, brother, you were banned yesterday for personal attacks,
right,
towards another chatter, which is something that we do not take kindly to here.
He made Sam laugh, though. That's funny. Don't make me be mean, dude. Don't make me be mean. Anyway, We got an update on the managerial search. Hundley, Niebla, Pujols. We'll talk more about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, standing somewhere Sports Station 97 through the Fan. All right, got some update for you on the Padres managerial search. This has been updated today at 11:15 in the morning. Padres have narrowed their managerial search to no more than 4 finalists and expect to make a decision on who will replace retired Mike Shildt by the end of the week. Pitching coach Ruben Niebla, former Padres catcher and current Rangers advisor Nick Hundley, and future Hall of Famer Albert Pujols are finalists for the position, according to sources. It is not certain they are the only remaining candidates. The Padres have not commented on the manager search. It was already known that Pujols met with the Padres officials Tuesday in San Diego. Niebla was seen during his interview at Petco Park on Monday, and sources confirmed he and Hundley are in the running. Hundley could not be reached for comment, and Niebla did not answer a phone call seeking comment. The 3 finalists and bench coach Brian Esposito and possibly others participated in interviews via Zoom last week. In the first round of interviews, the second round of interviews is being held in person. Niebla has essentially remade the Padres pitching program since taking over as pitching coach in October of 2021, and the team has perennially ranked among the leaders in that span. The Calexico High graduate pitched in the minor leagues in the Expos and Dodgers organization and coached in the Guardians org from 2001 to 2020. Hundley played in the major leagues for 12 seasons. First 6.5 of them with the Padres. He spent time working for MLB after his retirement in 2019. Has been a special assistant to the Rangers baseball ops department since 2022. Hundley lives here in San Diego. As for Albert Pujols, his 704 home runs are 4th most in Major League Baseball history. Has never coached or managed in the minor or major leagues. His managerial experience is limited to leading Leones de Escogido to the Dominican Winter League and Caribbean Series titles in 2025. There you go. Those are the finalists, if you will. It says at least, what did it say, 4? There's one name in there that we don't know. No more than 4 finalists, and he gave us 3 of them. So there's probably one more. It might be Flaherty at this point. But Flaherty is out and around interviewing for a lot of other spots. The thing with, like, Nick Hundley, like, I feel like Nick Hundley could be a good baseball guy and a good baseball manager. I just don't, like, is Fernando and Manny going to listen to him? I find that hard to believe. Maybe they will. Out of those 3, I honestly like. The caveat here is if Albert Pujols keeps Ruben Niebla on staff, he'd be my number one. He's my number one choice out of that group. If Albert Pujols comes and brings in an entirely new staff, to me, he drops down number 2. I'd go with Ruben as number 1. Those are the caveats to this situation. If it's Pujols and he keeps Niebla, I'm in. Number 1. If not, I'm probably going to go with Ruben Niebla as the number 1 candidate. Nick Hundley, like, to me, good baseball man, nice guy, great guy in reality. San Diego, lives here in San Diego. I think it's interesting. Plus, here's the other deal. Like, a lot of teams wanted Nick Hundley. And I think there's something to be said, as much as we kind of pour cold water on Ryan Flaherty and Nick Hundley, they're getting multiple interviews right now. There are multiple teams interested in the services of both Nick Hundley and Ryan Flaherty. That can't be said about all of these candidates. Or maybe some of these candidates don't want the other jobs and they're interested in being the manager of the San Diego Padres more than they're interested in being the manager of the Rockies. So that's how I would lay it out for those 3. I think if it says no more than 4 and there's a 4th finalist, my guess would be Ryan Flaherty is the 4th finalist. So I think you have your 4. You have 3 that have been reported by Kevin Acee. And the 4th one is still technically a mystery. 3 finalists for the Padres managerial job. Nick Hundley, Ruben Niebla, Albert Pujols. Those are the finalists. What are your thoughts on that, Frank?
As far as Hundley goes, I think he's I think he's a great guy. I just don't know if he's the fit here right now. There are guys that like Nick Hudley that I think would have been a good fit a couple of years ago when Jace Tingler got the job instead. I don't think that with the superstar caliber that this team has, with the expectations that this team has, with the outgoing personalities that the stars on this team have, I just don't think that right now is the time to be investing in a hire like Nick Hudley. You need an outgoing personality like an Albert Pujols as your manager for this team at this moment.
I agree with that. In terms of the stars that you have, in terms of your recent history of managers, in terms of everything that's happened the last kind of basically since Manny and Fernando became part of this team, it's Pujols and Niebla to me are the only ones that I think can be the guys that can lead you to a World Series. That's it. That's it. Those are the two gentlemen I think that can do it the best. Again, you have to look at it from this way. You're hiring if you want them, right? Everything's got to be about winning a World Series, correct? Do you say, or do you see Nick Hundley being the first guy to get the Padres to a World Series, to win a World Series?
No.
Do you think it's Ryan Flaherty right now with this team? Do you think it's Ruben Niebla? I think it's possible. Do you think it's Albert Pujols?
Yes.
Again, baseball is not an X's and O's sport. There's some strategy involved for sure. But at this level of the game, the manager is there to manage the personalities of the clubhouse. I can't tell you how many coaches have told me that. The list goes on and on and on. But that is what you're looking for. What was your biggest problem at the end of last season in the playoffs? Stars were not performing at the level they needed to perform. You need to find any way possible to get those guys to perform at their highest level. That's what you need to do. And to me, Albert Pujols is the guy that's going to be able to do that. And this is why you can't just hire him to be it's not just going to do that to be a hitting coach. It's great. Like, it would be great to have him be the hitting coach. I don't think he's interested in doing that. I think he wants to be a manager, and that's it. Sometimes these are the situations that you have to deal with. I think a lot of teams in the NFL would love to have some head coaches be their OC and other head coaches be their DC and just be like, yeah, these are the guys. There's only one team right now in the NFL that can do that. It's Kansas City. Chiefs arguably have the best OC and the best DC in the game right now. Two guys that are head coaches. You need to have somebody that's going to get these players to play at the highest level. And to me, I think a guy like Albert Pujols is going to be able to get the best out of these guys. And a Ruben Niebla. Those are the two, to me, that are going to be able to get this team to that level. Out of the three that have been mentioned as finalists, with one being, we don't know who it is. I saw the rumor about Pujols' manager, maybe Bud Black, becomes the bench coach. Are they going to let Pujols hire his entire staff? Was there something in Anaheim where he wanted to bring in his own pitching coach? I mean, maybe that's different. Maybe in Anaheim, he didn't like the pitching situation up there and he wanted to go with his own guy. But in San Diego, they'll take Ruben Niebla. I mean, remember, like, Ruben Niebla was hired as the pitching coach before they hired Bob Melvin as the manager. I just feel like the Padres need to go big with this one. I think they went the safe hire in the last one. It was fine. They won games. Mike Schultz did a great job. I think Ruben Niebla would be a safe hire. But as of right now, to me, the only way I'm excited about this managerial hire is if it's Albert Pujols or Ruben Niebla. Those are the two that get me excited for the Padres season. Nick Hundley would be like, okay, it's good to have Nick back. He's a great baseball guy. But it doesn't give me the juice. It doesn't give me the excitement of getting ready for the 2026 season. So we'll see how this plays out. At least we got some finalists now, according to Kevin Acee. Albert Pujols, Nick Hundley, Ruben Niebla. The 3 finalists that he had mentioned, he says there's no more than 4 finalists. I got to get the direct quote from his article today that he updated. The Padres have narrowed their managerial search to no more than 4 finalists. So there's one that we don't know about. My guess would be Ryan Flaherty. So that's the latest on the Padres news. What's going on in the sports world, Frank? Time to get to the sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frank, what do we got?
We got some fun. We got some fun and games right now. Starting off,
Number 1.
in a move that nobody saw coming,
Nobody.
the SEC has asked the NCAA to rescind its pending rule change that will allow athletes and athletic department staff members to bet on professional sports. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey sent a letter to the NCAA president, Charlie Baker, on October 25th, stating that during an October 13th conference meeting, quote, "The message of our presidents and chancellors was clear and united. This policy change represents a major step in the wrong direction." Last week, the NCAA's Division I cabinet approved a rule change to allow betting on professional sports, and the Division II and III management councils also signed off on it, allowing it to go into effect Saturday. NCAA athletes are still prohibited from betting on college sports and sharing information about college sports with bettors. Betting sites also are not allowed to advertise or sponsor NCAA championships. So this was a letter that was sent before the NCAA news, the NBA news broke. Do you think there's a little bit more validity to it now since everything we've heard about the NBA?
Do you think they're a little bit more cautious about this now? Yeah, absolutely. The fact that they'd be like surprised by this information is wild to me. But yeah, you got to go back to it now. I mean, they've let a lot of toothpaste out of the tube that they're trying to put back. How could this possibly be a good idea? How could this possibly be a good idea? It's not a good idea. It's a terrible idea. You should pretend like it's great. It's not. It's a terrible idea.
I mean,
oh no, disaster. What a terrible idea. We play that clip every day. This is a prime example of that.
I know it holds a lot of venom now with what has happened with the NBA, but also it's not Brett Yormark. It's not the ACC commissioner. It's the SEC commissioner that's saying, listen, maybe we shouldn't be doing this right now. And maybe we're going a little bit too far. Let's try to dial it back a little bit. I think that carries a lot of weight as well.
I think so.
Number 2.
In a story that we're seeing a lot here recently from different players, Aroldis Chapman ripped the New York Yankees in a podcast saying he would retire on the spot before ever playing for them again. Chapman aired his grievances with the Yankees during his appearance on the Swing Completo podcast in 2023. Chapman, who played parts of 7 seasons in New York from 2016 to 2022, was asked if he would ever consider rejoining the Yankees. Chapman answered, as translated from Spanish, "No way, not even dead. If I were told I were being traded to New York, I'd pack my things and go home. I'll retire on the spot if that happens. I'm not crazy. Never again. We know the story. It's a classic story by Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. as to why Jr. would never play for the Yankees. But to see another player who's active just actively come out and say, God, no, I will never play for this organization again. It's a little alarming, no?
Didn't Vlad Jr. say that and then like retract it right before he might be a free agent and might have to get paid? I mean, it's fun when you know that you're not going to play for them again because your career's almost over, right? Like how old's Aroldis Chapman? I mean, that guy made his debut. I was in high school.
40,
I was a sophomore in high school when that guy first came up with the Reds. The guy's been in the league for a long time. He's got to be close to 40 years old. He doesn't have a lot of years left anyway. When he's done playing in Boston or wherever he's at now.
Yeah, he's in Boston. He's 37.
37. How many more teams is he going to be on? Right? Like, he's going to come to a point where it's like he doesn't have to play anymore. And if it's the Yankees or retirement, he's just going to take retirement. It's easy for him to say it. If you're a young player and said that, you're stupid. Why would you ever eliminate a team from potentially somewhere you would play? And here's the thing. I know everybody in our YouTube chat and all the standing people are like, I would refuse to play for the Dodgers. No, the hell you wouldn't. No, the hell you wouldn't. As much as you don't like LA and the Dodgers, if that organization offered you life-changing money to do any job for them, you would quickly say absolutely yes. Don't do it. Don't be the guy that's like, I would never play for the. Yeah, you would. Stop it. Stop it.
Number 3.
Carson Wentz's painful run as the Minnesota Vikings quarterback has officially ended. Wentz has undergone season-ending surgery to repair a left shoulder injury he initially suffered on October 5th while playing in replace of injured starter J.J. McCarthy. Wentz has been playing through a dislocated shoulder that included a torn labrum and fractured socket. The source told ESPN on Monday, confirming multiple reports. McCarthy is expected to return to the starting lineup for the Vikings game on Sunday against the Detroit Lions, with Wentz heading to IR. Undrafted rookie Max Brosmer is the only other quarterback on the roster for the Vikings at this moment. Of course, you want J.J. McCarthy to come back, but did you really have to run Wentz into the ground to wait for him to come back?
What else are you going to do? Not play him? Somebody has to play. It's tough to see him play somebody else. Where's Brett Rippon?
Sign somebody.
Brett Rippon knows that offense.
Guy's playing with a dislocated shoulder and a broken socket for a month. Like, come on.
Sometimes the players want to play because they feel like it's their only chance, or they go a little bit too much. I just don't know why they didn't sign anybody.
They
have Brett Rippon right there available. They could have signed.
I don't understand.
He knows that offense. He just was there like last year.
Is
that saving you money?
Like Padres over everyone in the chat said, that's just malpractice. That's just managerial malpractice there.
Number 4.
Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is expected to return from a right hamstring injury and start tomorrow night in Miami. Coach John Harbaugh said after Monday walkthroughs, he said, quote, I feel very confident about it. Jackson has been sidelined for the past 3 games, including Sunday's 30-16 win over the Chicago Bears. Before the injury, the 2-time MVP led the NFL with a 130.5 passer rating, throwing 10 touchdowns and 1 interception. Monday, Jackson was estimated as a full participant in the team's walkthroughs. Does this give a rejuvenated hope now to the Baltimore Ravens possibly winning the division and making the playoffs?
With Lamar Jackson coming back?
Yes.
Absolutely. They had a lot of injuries, more than just Lamar, but having Lamar back is huge for them. And that division is terrible. That division is terrible. They're going to be able to win. They can win that division. They're favored to win every one of their games from here on out, according to whatever advanced stats on ESPN. They're going to be able to do it. Why didn't the Vikings try to trade for Kirk Cousins? Another guy that flourished in Minnesota. Maybe they still should do that.
It's ridiculous.
Who's going to play quarterback for him now? JJ McCarthy back yet?
Yeah, McCarthy is back.
Yeah, they're just like,
So
we don't want to make any. We don't want to make any trades. We're just going to wait.
They destroyed Wentz's career to wait for McCarthy to come back.
Well, yes, and I mean Carson Wentz is.
No, I understand.
Backup anyway.
I understand he's not the Carson Wentz he was, but I mean, really,
Was he like refusing to play though? Like
he was fed up with it
well, he should
when
have
he got hit. That video went around.
New lunch timeout when we come back.
Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on 97.3 The Fan. All guests that join us on 97.3 The Fan join us via the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. All right. There's a lot of things we wanted to get to today. And we're going to get to more stuff on the Padres offseason and this managerial conversation and everything like that. And there is an interesting conversation we want to have here in the noon hour about the World Series. But I do want to update for everybody what Kevin Acee has put out, in which the Padres have now narrowed their managerial search. It's being reported by Kevin Acee that they have narrowed their managerial search to no more than 4 finalists and expect to make a decision on who will replace the retired Mike Shildt by the end of the week. End of the week. Pitching coach Ruben Niebla, former Padres catcher and current Rangers advisor Nick Hundley, and future Hall of Famer Albert Pujols are finalists for the position, according to sources. It is not certain they are the only remaining candidates. Sounds like no more than 4, which means I think maybe Ryan Flaherty's the last one. I totally blew through that portion of this update, Frank. They're expected to make a decision by the end of the week. I think it's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the end of the week. It's a Thursday.
Yeah, I mean,
I think if they make a decision, it's either going to be a Friday news dump, which I doubt it.
No, if the rumors are true that you don't want to
on a game day.
Yeah, you don't want to do it on a World Series game day to take attention away. It would have to be tomorrow. If not, it's going to be Monday of next week.
And he says the end of the week. Now, when the Padres hired Mike Shildt and Bob Melvin, I'm pretty sure they were in between games 2 and 3 of the World Series. Were they not? I'd have to look it up.
I don't remember.
But I'm pretty sure that is what Darnay said on a tweet. I'm going to look up exactly when he was hired.
Yeah, I'm looking that up now.
The Padres, I mean, when they announced it, I guess.
Padres hired
November
Mike Shildt
1st.
November 21st.
November 21st?
Yes, November 21st.
Not
so
during
that
the
would have
World
been
Series.
no, that would have been way after.
Way after. November 1st was Bob Melvin. 2021. World Series 2021. Maybe it was in between. Yep. It was. You said November 1st? Between.
Yeah, November 1st was Melvin.
Correct, which means, and they played, Astros won Game 5 on Halloween, 9-5, Game 5. And then
Game 6
travel
would have been-
day was November 1st, and then Game 6 was November 2nd. So, yes. That's when they did it with the Bob Melvin hire. Mike Shildt was a lot later, so obviously not a thing. And if it's going to be later in the week, it ain't going to be on a Friday. It'd be tomorrow. That would be my prediction, my guess, without knowing any extra information. Reading the tea leaves, Frank. But it sounds like it's either Albert Pujols, Nick Hundley, Ruben Niebla, or maybe Ryan Flaherty. That was just my guess. It sounds like they have no more than 4 finalists. So maybe it's just those 3. Maybe there's one guy that we don't know about. Maybe it's not Ryan Flaherty. I just find it hard to believe with everybody listing Ryan Flaherty as the rumored candidate for the Padres that he wouldn't be the guy.
Well, I
think Ryan Flaherty is probably more of a chance to be one of those guys than Esposito is.
I think the reason why he's being linked is because it was let out during the Schilt articles and the articles after that between the rift between Grupner and Preller and all that Flaherty was Preller's guy in the last managerial search, or at least that was what was reported, is that Flaherty was Preller's guy. So I think that, well, Preller's still making the choice. It'd be a natural assumption that Flaherty would be the guy. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I think that's just kind of a natural conclusion with everything we know, that he would be a natural fit as the fourth guy.
Well, he also is pretty close with Manny Machado, and he is also in the running for every single managerial candidacy. I just, for him being the ties to the Padres organization for as long as he has, I find it hard to believe that he wouldn't be one of those finalists. But we don't know. Who knows? I think it'd be hard pressed to say that he is one of the guys. It would be hard pressed for one of the manager to be hired not to be one of the three that Kevin Acee put out at this point in time. And I still think it's Albert Pujols' job based on all the reports that we've gotten. So we'll keep you updated on this. We'll see if it happens tomorrow or not. He said they'll know by the end of the week. I can't imagine there being a press conference if that was the case this week. It'd probably be next week. But based on what Major League Baseball wants in terms of news stories around the World Series, and based on the Padres timeline, and based on what was just reported by Kevin Acee, I think we could know who the Padres' new manager is tomorrow. And I don't think I'm that crazy on a limb saying that. That's just reading through the tea leaves with me. I mean, is anything else on that? I mean, you're starting to piece the puzzle together.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the case. My guess would be that the Padres hire Albert Pujols tomorrow. If I had to bet on it, that would be to me, that's the best odds. Maybe it's AJ Ellis. Remember, he was part of the conversation, got service, part of the conversation. Those guys are internal candidates.
Service has managerial experience as well.
Right. But then you would have, how about that? That's the other thing. All three of the candidates that have been announced as finalists, not one of them has managerial experience.
Yeah.
It's not Nick Hundley. It ain't Ruben Niebla. It ain't Albert Pujols. So now you're going with a guy that's not going to have any managerial experience for everybody that was hoping for managerial experience. I mean, right now, those are basically your options. Who do you think is the best fit? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let me know. I like Albert Pujols the best unless it means Ruben Niebla is gone. And then all of a sudden I have to think about it a little bit more. But if it's going to be one of those three guys that are the finalists, not one of them has any managerial experience. Is that okay? Can you run this Padres team without any managerial experience? I think you can. I don't think it's as big of a deal. But if I had to pick out of the three, I think Albert Pujols is going to have a little bit more pull than Ruben Niebla, and I think he's going to have a little bit more pull than Nick Hundley in the clubhouse. I would not be upset with any of those candidates. I'd be like, with Nick Hundley a little bit, but I think with him being so popular for other managerial jobs, I'm intrigued by the Nick Hundley potential hiring. But however the roster shakes out with the stars that they have, with how much Albert Pujols can relate to the ball club that is currently employed by the San Diego Padres, he, to me, is the best fit on this particular situation. I think a lot of fans are going to want to pick him too. So we'll keep you updated as we find out more about this particular situation with the Padres managerial search. Let's talk about the World Series a little bit, Frank. How much of the World Series you catch last night?
I caught a little bit of it. I caught it. They were tied what was it, 1-1 or tied 2-2 going into the 7th inning, and then things started to snowball. I can't believe Shohei Ohtani played 18 innings and then threw 6 innings the next night.
I know.
That's insane. That's any pitcher. If any pitcher would have done that, that's just nuts.
Yeah, I don't care that he's DHing, right? I know he's off his legs in the field, but still.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still a lot. Last night, Ohtani 0 for 3, walked once. Betts was 1 for 4. Freeman 2 for 4. Hernandez was 1 for 3. Muncy 1 for 3. Edman 1 for 3. Kike Hernandez 0 for. Pajes 0 for. A call came in 0 for. It was the big bat of Vlad Guerrero Jr. that helped it out.
It's almost like sacrificing last night's game to get some guys some rest. Paid off for Toronto a little bit.
With the offensive bats, for sure.
Yes.
The thing about Toronto in that series strategy-wise, right? Because they split in Toronto, which means they needed to get one win in LA to get it back to Toronto, where you could think about winning home games. They just needed to win one of the 3. You don't want to go back to Toronto down 3-2. But that being said, they just needed one. Like, you can sacrifice that first game and win the second. And then you're back, and then you got 2 home games to finish out the year. That's the benefit of having home field advantage. Vlad Guerrero Jr. with the postseason that he has had, it's no surprise that he's the one that got the big swing off Ohtani.
Correct. And it's also paying off that, what was it, a $500 million contract extension he got at the beginning of this season. That investment is paying off dividends for Toronto right now. That contract could pay for itself this year. And it's year 1 of a double-digit year deal. Bieber
did good last night, too.
Yes.
5 1/3, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He didn't get the full 6 innings as he had a couple of guys on base there when he left. But Bieber did a great job. Bieber's a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah. And again, it's Toronto showing with that 4-run 7th inning that they have the ability to have an explosive inning. And it's not just a home run. It's single, double, single. They are getting hits at the right time to be able to have that explosive inning. Of course, a home run like a grand slam in game 2 helps, or game 1 helps, but they are beating you by just little slices here and there.
That was a situation in which, like, watching the Blue Jays offense is what the Padres wanted their offense to be.
Yep.
It's just nonstop rolling after another and continuing the pressure and putting the pressure on. The problem is the Padres only got singles and the Blue Jays can actually hit for extra base hits. That's the biggest difference. Now, that offense didn't have that in extra innings 2 days ago. They became completely dormant.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the offense that you want. You want to see guys working counts. You want to see guys grinding out at bats. You want to see the ball get put in play, single here, double there. But you need to add some extra base hits. And the Blue Jays did that all night long, where I think almost all of their starters had a knock last night. The only one that didn't was Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and he hasn't really gotten a hit at all in the postseason anyway.
And also, I mean, if you go back to game 3, Toronto had a couple of very big chances in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in extra innings. They had second and third with 1 out. They had the bases loaded in the 14th. I mean, they had their chances to win that game, or at least get ahead. Didn't take it. And of course, it was after, you sacrifice part of your lineup. And if we win this game, great. If not, we're in a better position for tomorrow. And it really showed that they really were in a better position the next night.
The other thing too with Toronto, and Tony Jr. brings this up all the time, it's not getting it. The problem is not getting hits with runners in scoring position. It's having opportunities with runners in scoring position. And you knew the Blue Jays, when they continue to put runners in scoring position opportunities, eventually they're going to break through. Last night they were 3 for 11.
Mm-hmm.
As compared to, as you mentioned, the extra innings they had the day before, where they just could not get that hit, and they ran into problems. The Dodgers were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. There was the difference, a massive difference. Blue Jays left 9 on base, and the Dodgers left 7 on base. Overall, Blue Jays even it back up at 2 apiece. It will head to Toronto after tonight. So they're got to go back to Toronto for Friday for Game 6. Game 5 is tonight. And as Magic Johnson said, whoever wins this game is in control. Thanks. Thanks, Magic.
Up for another crumb at Toronto, too.
That's right. When we come back, have you been watching the World Series? Apparently, not a lot of people in the United States have been watching the World Series in comparison to previous World Series. Rating numbers came out. United States sees a ratings decline for the World Series. We'll talk about that and the impact it has on baseball when we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Number One Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This hour 97 to the fans brought to you by Toyota of Poway, but it's San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer. Buy USA today with APRs as low as 0% and tons of new Toyotas on the ground. No tricks, only treats during the Trucktober sales event happening now only at Toyota of Poway or online at toyotaofpoway.com in the heart of San Diego. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're talking about the finalists for the Padres managerial job. According to Kevin Acee, he is reporting that there's no more than 4, and 3 names that he has in his sources: Nick Hundley, Albert Pujols, and Ruben Niebla. They said, Kevin Acee said, they want to make a decision by the end of the week. With the World Series going on, more likely than not, they're not going to announce one on a World Series game day, which means tomorrow is a great day to potentially know who the Padres' new manager is. Speaking of the World Series, Blue Jays and Dodgers are tied at 2 after the Blue Jays took the game last night by a score of 6-2. They will be in action again tonight for Game 5 at 5 o'clock. But how many people are watching? United States has seen a ratings decline for the World Series, Frank. What do we have on this?
Yeah, it's been interesting to see. America's game is not being watched in America. According to Major League Baseball, the first 2 games, so this is the 2 games in Toronto, of this year's World Series averaged 12.5 million in the U.S. across Fox, Fox Deportes, Fox One Streaming, Fox Sports App, and Univision, which is a 14% drop from games 1 and 2 last year. Last year's first 2 games averaged 14.55 million viewers. This year's game 1 averaged 13.3, while game 2 drew 11.63, slightly below expectations, with Univision not carrying game 2 at all. Not great.
So they had 13.3 in the first game.
Yes.
Compared to the average of 14.55 for the first 2 games.
That 13.3 for game 1 is less than game 2 of last year, which was the lower of the first 2 games.
Lower the first 2 games. Game 2 was 11.63 million. So they played the game Friday, Saturday, correct?
Yes.
I mean, Saturday you're competing with college football. Friday, the Friday night games, I mean, during football season, have those ever done well? Friday night?
No.
I just feel like people are doing things on Friday nights and not staying home to watch sports. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I actually sat down and watched sports on a Friday night. Now, on Halloween, it's a holiday. It's a little bit different. I will have the game on, but
those numbers include the apps as well. So you could be out. You could be out at dinner. You could be out at a high school football game, for instance,
and stream it.
Yeah, and have the game streaming.
I still don't have interest. I mean, that's like a Friday night. I mean, you're going out for dinner and stuff like that. You're going out to just go out. I mean, sometimes maybe it's at bars and stuff, but I sports on a Friday for me don't hit. I don't know what it is. Is that just me? On Friday nights, I don't need to be watching sports. Now, my Friday nights are different because I'm busy in the fall, but I'm talking about the springtime. I guess I'll go to Padre games on a Friday night in the springtime, but I don't know. I find it hard for me to sit home and watch a game on a Friday night.
Yeah. You want to go out. You just finished the work week. You want to go out. You want to get the head start. You want to completely forget Saturday and then recover on Sunday for Monday. I've never seen the big draw in sports on it. Is that you?
That was the Yeti I moved.
Oh, okay.
I'll pick it up next time.
No, I was like, please tell me that wasn't a microphone or something. But anyway, yeah, unless it's the Friday night on a baseball season, you don't really see too many sports touch Friday night, unless you're putting your best out there.
The only ones that do well are the Black Friday games when everybody's got the day off.
Yeah, the NBA puts out their best for a Wednesday night usually. The NHL puts out their best on a Friday.
But even like your best is still not going to get great numbers on a Friday.
No.
It's just not.
But
I remember
it's
that
better
the college
than-
football playoff went that like second year. It was the
Mhm.
second year because we were in the Alamo Bowl. I remember that second year they played on a Friday. I think it was a Friday. Maybe it wasn't, but I knew it was New Year's Eve. And I think it was New Year's Eve on a Friday. Their ratings were just awful because people were doing things on a Friday night and there were and it was New Year's Eve.
Mhm.
Friday night games are just not great.
No, they don't hit.
I don't even watch college games on Friday nights. I hate when they get a college game on a Friday night.
And again, that's during the winter. In the summer, it's different.
Summer's different.
All eyes are on baseball.
Right.
You're not going to the beach on a Friday night. It's all eyes on baseball during the summer.
All right. So last year, 15.2 million views for game 1 to the 13.3 this year. Game 2 was 13.4 last year, down to 11.63. Here's the other thing about the ratings of this World Series. What is the enticing thing for me to watch? What am I excited about with this World Series?
See if Toronto can get their first World Series in 30 years.
To see if another rich team can win?
Call Toronto rich, but
They spent like the third highest. Like they're a high payroll team.
yeah,
I mean,
it's not a traditional powerhouse high payroll team. That's when I think of a rich team. That's what I think of. I think of teams that are.
you just think of
consistently-
traditional logos, but I'm pretty sure the Blue Jays have been spending a lot of money for a long time.
No,
I mean-
that was the reason why it took so long for them to re-sign Vladdy was because they didn't want to spend that much money.
Just because they didn't want to spend it didn't mean they didn't already spend money. The Blue Jays are a team. I mean, they have the entire country of Canada that can back them, and Toronto's a big market.
Which, by the
They're a
way,
big market organization.
speaking of having the entire country of Canada behind you, did you watch that Who Killed the Montreal Expos thing
No.
over the week? It was really, really good. For those of you, I think it came out on the 24th. Who Killed the Montreal Expos on Netflix. Very, very interesting. Dave Sampson comes off as the whiniest, slimiest little jerk I've ever seen.
Do you want to put him on the show? I got his number.
No, I'm good, thank you.
You sure? You
Yeah.
can text him. You can call him and tell him that.
Sure, I could.
You want to call and tell him that?
I'm good. I think there's enough people tweeting about it that. I mean, when you're taking the sofas after you sell the team and go to Miami, I mean that's extreme.
Yeah, the Blue Jays payroll's $258 million. At least they spend most of their revenue on their teams. They were like top 3 on that list on that Forbes thing that we sent. What's the compelling thing about this World Series aside from maybe people hate watching the Dodgers?
Vladdy versus
Vlad,
Shohei.
I guess. It's just not, to me, it's just not very interesting. It's okay. It's not a big time draw for me where I'm like, I just can't wait to watch these teams play.
And that's also another thing, as Manny posted in the chat. How much bigger do you get? How much bigger do you get than Yankees Dodgers from last year? So anything is going to feel like a downgrade from last year.
Yeah, but I also think people are tired of watching the Dodgers play.
Which
I
would
think that's
show in
more
the
of a
US
case.
numbers.
I think that's more of a case than, the fact that it's the Blue Jays and not the Yankees. I mean, I didn't watch one World Series game last year. I had zero interest in watching the Yankees play the Dodgers. Absolutely zero interest. I would imagine
I watched games 1 and 2 because I was in a hospital bed.
I would imagine most people that watch those games are people that aren't even like into baseball. Seriously. It's like, oh, look,
Yeah.
it's that hat I have that I bought at Abercrombie. And that's the other hat I bought from Abercrombie. That's about it. But like I don't know where this game's got the juice. Now, or this series has the juice. Obviously, the Canadian ratings are going to go through the roof. I mean, the fact that that's even in the article is funny to me. It's the only team in Canada in the World Series. Of course, Canadian viewership's going to go to historic highs.
Pretty much half of what the American viewership is what Canada got.
Yeah.
This one.
And if the Blue Jays weren't in it, they'd all be watching hockey.
Exactly.
But-
Right. Like we're doing in here.
But they're like you're doing in here. Do not rope me into this. You're the one that has the hockey on every
Because we
day.
can't put the other network on.
Yes, you're still right. So obviously theirs are going to be up. Now, and the other thing too, the Japanese audience doesn't surprise me either. They're like 3 biggest names right now in the sport are all in the Dodgers. So of course their ratings are going to be up. I just think as much as it's a knock down from I don't think it's Dodgers Yankees. I think a lot of it is. I think a lot of people are just tired of watching the Dodgers. Who's the guy that plays Brucey from The Longest Yard? You know what I'm talking about?
I know who I know who
You
you're
saw it-
talking.
you
I don't
see-
know his name, but I don't remember his name.
You see him on Twitter ever?
Yes.
He's hilarious.
Yes, he is.
You probably find pleasure in watching him freak out about the Yankees.
Yeah, a little bit.
So he's talking about it. He's just, I'm tired of watching the Dodgers. Tired of watching the Dodgers, which I think is rich from a Yankees fan, but still at the same time, like I get bored watching the same teams play all the time. I just, it doesn't do anything for me as a sports fan.
Nick Turturro
Yes,
is his name.
he's hilarious. We can't play anything he says.
No,
on
we
air.
cannot.
But again, like I wouldn't care. There's no like secret underdog too, where it's like a Cinderella story that was fun to watch. Like in college, Guardians Cubs was I was just all about it. Were they the Indians back then? Or were they the Guardians?
No, they were the Indians.
Yeah, Indians Cubs in what was that 2016?
Yes.
I loved every second about that World. It was cool. It was like
unbelievable
2
series.
organizations that hadn't won a World Series in forever battling it out. That was a fun World Series to watch.
I've mentioned my uncle on here many times, Cubs fan. I had called him like maybe 20 minutes after Game 7 had ended, and he still hadn't seen it. He saw Chris Bryant field the grounder at third, and he had paused it with the ball mid-flight because he was like, how is this going to go wrong now? And he said, I called him up, congratulations on your Cubs, you finally got it. He's like, so you called, so I'm guessing Bryant didn't screw it up, was the first thing he said to me. That was an incredible series.
I think I just like underdogs. Because I'm going through like the last couple of World Series, and the ones that I love the most were the ones that had a Cinderella story. That was the ones I was like, I got to watch this team. And maybe it's because of the connection of the fact that my teams have never won. And so, like, you feel for those fans. Like, if the Mariners were in it right now, I'd be even more fired up. They'd never been to a World Series.
Yeah.
I'd be like living. I would just be all into the World Series with the Mariners in it. You know, maybe I'm just anti. You know, it's just opposite of what mainstream is when it comes to like championship games. I mean, I got tired of watching the Patriots. It's just all right. There they are again. I got tired of watching Alabama. Casual fans love dynasties. I don't. I think it's boring. Isn't it boring to watch the same movie over and over and over again? I find that to be boring.
It depends on what movie it is.
Yeah. Well, I guess, Alabama football is a classic movie. Watching the Dodgers win all the time is a classic movie, maybe. I just feel like underdog and Cinderella has more juice for maybe that's just me. I don't like watching juggernauts. It doesn't do anything for me. I like seeing them get upset.
This juggernaut, though, could lead to some big changes, especially with what's on the horizon for Major League Baseball, though.
And I think that's a big reason why the ratings are down. Is I think a lot of people are fed up with the same kind of dynamic all the time with Major League Baseball. And that's an interesting topic that we're going to get into when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97th Fan is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover a movement that inspires. No, I disagree with Anthony 100%.
Can we just discuss what happened just a second ago before we came on air?
With picking the flights?
We've kind of hinted at it. We haven't said it officially yet, but we will be going to the Army-Navy game this year in Baltimore. So we will be doing. I can't with you right now. You are going to have to. You're going to have to move your headphones because you got the whole alfalfa thing.
I know. I see that. That's what happens when you wear headphones all day.
That's fine. I get that's better. So we will be broadcasting from Baltimore live at the Army-Navy game. The Radio Row stuff this year. We just picked our seats for our flights.
Which we didn't really have to. They were already kind of picked for us anyway.
Right. But we wanted to sit next to each other just in case, there was some stuff we wanted to talk about the show. And, we can actually do some off-show production meetings and stuff like that.
Instead of doing on the show.
I said, if I snore, I apologize. And I was threatened with physical violence.
I said I'll just punch you.
By my boss.
I'm not your boss.
Yes, you kind of are.
No, I'm not.
You kind of are.
Adam is your boss. You do not work for me. You're a colleague.
I was just threatened with physical violence.
Don't snore.
For apologizing in advance, 2 months in advance, month and a half. For the potential of me snoring on a flight.
Don't snore.
I can't really help that, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can. Don't fall asleep on the plane.
I have sleep apnea. I'm sorry. I do not have the ability to control that.
All right. I'll tell somebody else to punch you then.
I've just been threatened with physical violence by proxy now.
Yeah, you know what? The thing is you would have no idea if I told the guy or not. I could just hint that it might be the case. But anybody that's snoring on a plane is at the mercy that the plane will not throw said person off of plane in a parachute. Don't be that guy.
At least they'll get the parachute.
You know what? Well, that's if they have enough left over. If you're the last one to fall asleep and snore, you might be SOL. All right. I'll tell you this about the snoring in the plane. Just don't be the guy. Here's the good part, though, is we both have aisle seats, so Frank's not going to just lean on my shoulder falling asleep.
I mean, I'm big
You
enough
can lean on somebody else's shoulder. No, because you're going to get by the cart. You get run over by the cart.
Well, I'm sorry. There's speed bumps here, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, yeah, you're going to get wrecked by that cart. The flight attendants do not care. They tell you, get out of the lane.
It's Boeing speed bumps.
Yeah.
I don't mess with me with planes. I am artistic. I do know what goes in planes now. Not necessarily all that thrilled that we're flying Boeing, but I'd rather Airbus. I'm a fan of Airbus.
You would have a specific plane company that you would prefer as a fan of. Do you have a pennant, like a Airbus pennant at your house, or any type of Airbus memorabilia?
No.
You should wear it on the Boeing flight.
It's a big step that you got me to fly something that wasn't JetBlue, because I love JetBlue. That's a huge step.
You know what got me to get to not play? I have Delta Sky Miles. That's the only reason why we are flying Delta. You could have flown JetBlue on your own.
There were no flights.
No flights. Oh, no flights that worked. Yeah. You know what? How many flights does JetBlue even have going to San Diego anyway? Like
They
a
have-
handful?
No, I fly JetBlue to New York all the time.
Just to New York. Do you fly to Baltimore?
You think I have money to go places that aren't here?
I'm just
and
saying. I
home?
mean, you're the one that has a favorite airline company.
I
don't.
do, because there was a time where we did have the money as a family to go to New York 2 or 3 times a year, and we always flew JetBlue, and I loved it. We flew American. I hated it.
I haven't really enjoyed flying American either. I've done it. Like when I was at TCU, that was our charter, was American. It was I flew United one time for this Army Navy trip, and that's when I was like, nope, we're flying Delta. If I'm gonna fly cross country, I'm gonna get points for this, and I'm flying Delta. United was rough. I think I did that on the last one. And then I had flown American too. American's okay. I usually fly Southwest and Delta. I don't care about the whole like not being able to pick your seat thing. I don't mind it. I don't really care. The whole reason why I would fly Southwest is because the bags used to fly free and I could just like sit down and go. Southwest is fine for me. I'm not an airplane snob. I will say I will not fly Spirit ever again. I did that one time. I had to. Somebody bought me a flight for that for work purposes, and it was they're not really saving any money on Spirit because they charge you for everything for breathing. You have to pay like a nickel every time you take a breath on the plane. So it's not really saving you any money. The only time that Spirit makes any sense is if you're like, I'm going to fly with a backpack to Vegas for a day and then flying back. So I fly Southwest when I can. I fly Delta for cross country. Pretty simple.
For me, it's I'm a JetBlue guy. And
My
JetBlue
sixth grade
has
teacher told me
Airbuses.
how bad JetBlue was one time, and for some reason, every time I see JetBlue, I just think of I don't remember her name, but I remember she hated JetBlue. One bad experience.
I've never had one bad experience with JetBlue. I've had several bad experiences with TSA.
Well,
on flights, the last time I flew was actually to come back here for my brother's wedding. I flew out of Kennedy with a thing of shaving cream. Off you go. I came here to fly back to New York. They took that same thing of shaving cream. I'm like, how does it get through Kennedy, which is one of the most secure airports in the world, but it doesn't make it through San Diego?
Because everybody's airport security is different. They all have different machines, and none of them know that.
No, they both took it out. They both took it out, and they both saw it. Kennedy put it back in. San Diego said, no, we're keeping this.
Exactly. Like I said, they both have every airport's got different security with different stuff and different rules. And they go, we're the only ones that do it correctly. Everybody else does it wrong. And so that's why when you ask those questions, they get super snippy at you, like it's a problem. And I just want to know, am I taking my laptop out or am I not? Is this a machine that does it? Does it not? Am I taking my shoes off or am I not? Because every airport I go to has different rules. And then they go every time they go like, yeah, you're supposed to do that everywhere. I don't know why they're not doing it, but we're doing it right. And I'm like, all right, dude.
Let me put it to you this way. San Diego International should not have stricter airport security than JFK.
Why?
JFK is a central hub of the world travel in New York City.
That's an international airport down there. Major military bases and everything.
It should
all be the same. The security should all be the same.
That is also true.
Should all be the same.
But you should not be, quote unquote, more strict than freaking Kennedy Airport.
How about this? When I traveled with Cathedral for the last 2 times with the video board, the audio board to do the show, it got flagged randomly. Flying out of San Diego, flagged. I was expecting that. Flying back from San Jose, nothing. No problem. Didn't even open the bag. Went right through. Flying to Oakland, they had to go through it twice. Fair enough. It's a piece of equipment not a lot of people travel with.
Yeah,
Flying
that's understandable.
Back, no problem. From Oakland. So it's different everywhere you go. Different everywhere you go. I want to address the whole like parity thing. People don't understand. They look at like the final championship and go like, that's parity. The NFL has more parity than any other league in the United States. I don't care how many times the Chiefs have won a Super Bowl because everybody's got a shot at the beginning of the year. In baseball, not everybody's got a shot at the beginning of the year. There is zero parity in baseball. It's like the same 8 teams that get to compete for a World Series every single year. The only thing that keeps baseball, like in terms of parity going, is the fact that the sport itself is weird, and so weird things happen. But overall, a top 15 payroll wins a World Series. You have to have a top 15 payroll in order to win a World Series. That has been the case since 2003. If you're not a top 15 payroll, you're not winning a World Series. I can just tell you that right now. Whatever the payrolls are next year, I will tell you specifically. If that team is not top 15 in payroll, I guarantee you they will not win a World Series. I guarantee you they won't win it. In the NFL, there is parity because you have markets like Green Bay, Wisconsin that could compete for a championship. Kansas City, Missouri. You could Chiefs play, dude. You could compete for a championship. That is the parity. People don't understand that. They get so fixated on like who like the champion is. Like, see, look, it's a different team every year. Toronto, top 5 in payroll. They're in the World Series against number 2 in payroll. That's what it is. You can get that's why small markets survive in the NFL. You can get all of these changes from last to first all the time. How many times you get to see Colorado flip to number 1? Hardly ever. That's the NFL. Most parity in all of sports. The NBA, well, kind of, not really. College football is different to an extent, but they're starting to get a lot of parity in college football. You're starting to see it. And it's gonna start trickling more and more with NIL being spread amongst everybody else. Royals were top 15 in payroll that year. Go look at it. They were top 15 in payroll that year. I looked at that. You have to be top 15 in payroll in order to win a World Series.
Juan Ruiz, why? Why am I catching strays here? Why?
It gives you an opportunity to win. But that's the difference. Baseball, it's the same teams all the time. The Royals spent a ton of money that year. By the way, you look at it. He said 21st in payroll. No, dude, you know what the Royals were in payroll that year when they won the World Series? Guess, Frank. Guess what their payroll was.
For the Royals?
The Royals in 2015 when they won the World Series. Guess what the payroll was?
Like 8 or 9.
7. They had the 7th highest payroll in Major League Baseball. Won a World Series.
Yeah, because they had big contracts.
They had big contracts. They spent the money.
They had Osmer. They had
yeah.
Alex Gordon. They had a couple of other big names I can't think of right now.
NFL has zero parity. Bro, do you even watch sports? I can't argue with I can't argue with it. It's just so annoying. What are you talking about? It's the only league you will last the first almost every single year.
Look at the Lions.
The Lions. Facts. All of a sudden a contender. Bottom feeder forever. Out of professional sports, the only reason why the baseball has a lot of wild card winners is because the sport of baseball is random. And the playoffs are set up not to have the best team win every year. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. 1 o'clock hour when we come back. USD San Diego State basketball tonight. 1:00 on a Wednesday. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. San Diego Urban Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, if you have a champion in your league that goes back to back, you do not have parity in your league, Frank. That's where we're at with this.
At least we know the criteria he's using.
There's the criteria, I guess. I just doesn't make any sense. The salary cap of the NFL is a hard cap. That's why they have all these different teams bouncing back and forth. I mean, what did the Colts do last year?
They were god-awful, weren't they?
I want to say they were. 2024.
Did you see one of the tweets that was going around yesterday about the about the Colts' new owner.
Yeah, the Ursay's daughter.
Yes. She is one of the tweets that was going around yesterday was, man, she is so in depth with this team, and you'll love to see it. When I die, I hope my daughter takes care of my NCAA 26 dynasty this way.
The guy is convinced that I did see that. The guy is convinced that only 5 teams can win the National Football. They're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Only 5 teams can win it. That doesn't even make any sense.
No.
I mean, the Patriots can win it this year. They one of those 5 teams. 5 teams?
Wait, you could do what in every sport? Hold on.
Go through and say like teams that dominate, and therefore there's no parity. He brings up the Ravens winning the division multiple years in a row.
Okay, how many of those years did they win the Super Bowl?
Like twice, if that. Not even once. Then they beat the Niners.
How many years did the Packers win
The Packers.
the NFC North?
Aaron
and not
Rodgers.
win the Super
Aaron
Bowl?
Rodgers only has 1 Super Bowl. All those years in Green Bay.
How many years of the Steelers won the AFC North?
Mm-hmm.
And how many Super Bowls do they have?
I mean, you can talk about the Ravens winning the division. They've won the division 2 years in a row, and in 2022, the Bengals won the division. 2021, Bengals won the division. 2020, Steelers won the division. 19, back to the Ravens. What's the deal with isn't the NFC East like a different division winner every single year?
It's consistently the toughest division in the NFL.
It's been a different team every single year. The NFL is the king of parity. It's not even like worth an argument for. Every team's got a chance every single year. At the beginning of the season, there's only 16 games. You play last place schedules if you finish in last, and teams go from last to first all the time.
And after years of being at the bottom, trying to figure out life after Tom Brady, sitting in the bottom of the AFC East, which is really third because the Jets exist, the Patriots are leading the AFC East right now after finishing third last year.
Colts went 8-9. They're 7-1 right now. How about the Jags? Jags have a winning record. Texans 2 years ago looked like they're about to be a legit team. They're back to 3-4. Titans for like more than a decade were a stud team, and now they look like they're going to be the worst team ever. There's a couple of really bad orgs in there mixed in, but overall, there's a lot of parity in the National Football League. Look at the AFC North right now. Everybody's got a chance to win the division right now. We're halfway through.
And Anthony in the chat, we're not mad at you. Thank you for giving us a free segment here. We're more thankful than anything. But you're dead wrong. You're dead wrong.
The NFL's got the most parity out of all the leagues. How many years have the Rockies come in last in the last like 10 years? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just
how many more years do the Nationals and Marlins have to finish in last place?
Correct.
The Rays, the White Sox.
You know what? I do this every single year to start out the year. Because when people freak out that the Padres, like, are they going to be able to make the playoffs? You could go through the standings at the beginning of the year and basically eliminate half the league. You could do it every single year. I did it this year. I literally did it this year. The only team I was wrong, I was like the Mets not making the playoffs. But I was like, I looked at the standings for the season started based on all the teams. You know about 3 division winners, right? You know the Dodgers are going to win the West. You know it's going to be either between the Brewers or the Cubs in the Central. And you know the Phillies or the Mets are going to win the East, maybe. Sometimes it's the Braves. Okay,
how much have you been paying attention to the NBA over the last couple of years? Funny question, I know, but just
not a lot.
Honest. All right. Of the Celtics, Nets, Knicks, Sixers, Raptors, who has a chance of making the playoffs this year?
Celtics.
Okay. And the Knicks do as well.
The Knicks for sure. I mean, well,
Chicago.
It's 16. There's 16 teams that make the playoffs on both sides.
No, I'm talking about possibly winning a championship. Here.
Oh, winning a championship?
Yes.
All right. So what did you say?
Celtics, Nets, Knicks, Sixers, Raptors, Atlantic Division.
I'd say the Knicks and the Celtics.
Central, Bulls, Cavs, Pistons, Pacers, Bucks.
Bucks. I guess Cavs are pretty good now, huh?
Southeast, Hawks, Hornets, Heat, Magic, Wizards. Any of them have a chance?
You said
Hawks, Hornets, Heat, Magic, Wizards.
Heat.
Northwest, Nuggets, T-Wolves, Thunder, Blazers, Jazz.
Nuggets and Thunder. Maybe the Jazz.
Pacific, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Suns, Kings.
Warriors.
Southwest, Dallas, Mavericks, Rockets, Grizzlies, Pelicans, Spurs.
Spurs now with Wembanyama.
You have named 6 teams, 7 teams. The same 6 or 7 teams that you would have named last year and the year before that and the year before that.
And the year before that.
You could pick.
For a long time, the NBA, you knew that the Cavs and the Warriors are going to be in the NBA Finals
It was,
before the season even started.
It was the Cavs versus whichever team LeBron was on. That was it.
That was it.
And wouldn't you know who won the pony? It was the Warriors and whichever team LeBron was on, whether it be the Cavs, the Heat, whatever.
Major League Baseball. I gave you a look at it for next year before even looking at the offseason. You're going to have 2 teams in the East, most likely in the playoffs. You're going to have 2 teams in the Central, maybe, and you're going to have 2 teams in the West. I mean, you can eliminate the Pirates right now. You can eliminate the Pirates, the Pirates, the Rockies, the Nationals, the Marlins. You can already wipe them off. They're not even going to compete next year.
Mm-hmm.
You can already wipe them off the board. They have 0 chance at winning any games. They have 0 chance of competing for a playoff spot. Absolutely 0. So you can already eliminate those 4 teams. Then you got like teams like the Reds and the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, that you're kind of competing for a playoff spot for.
Right. JH in the chat. Right. They won't spend. They're pocketing revenue sharing. That's fine. That's not the point of the exercise, though.
No.
The point of the exercise is we already know they don't have a chance.
They don't have a chance.
Why they don't have a chance is irrelevant.
Why they don't have a chance? Because you're right. They pocket the revenue sharing money. You know what the other teams have to do in the other leagues? They have to actually physically spend it.
Yes.
Therefore, they might luck into winning games because they have to spend the money.
Salary floor.
It's amazing what that does. It's amazing what it does for ratings. The NFL is king for a lot of reasons.
You do the same thing with the NFL. Okay. Jets, Titans. Did anyone expect the Saints to be...
I knew the Saints were going to be bad.
Forget about being bad. The Saints being non-competitive.
I can eliminate only 3 teams from the NFL. And as of right now, it's like, but even like the Dolphins went and hammered the Falcons last week.
Yeah, and
hammered them.
And they were listless
How
before that.
How about Carolina? Carolina's 4-4. Carolina should have no business winning any football games. Minnesota.
They were supposed to be worse than the Saints.
Minnesota is competing for like a division every single year. They're in last place right now. The Bears, who are awful, are just 2 games out of first place. Washington. What a letdown Washington is. Washington should be near the top of the division. Cowboys are playing poorly. They're in second place. Even as bad as the Saints are, they still beat the Giants.
Anthony, who are the plethora of teams that who are the plethora of teams that you would have eliminated before the season started from winning a Super Bowl?
Right. A plethora of teams. I mean, you can even look at like teams
three,
like
three clearly isn't enough. So who are more?
You could look at the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are a team that's like they lost to the Titans. The Titans can still win a game. Like they can still win games. It's just a different conversation. The only thing they have is the college football has been so top heavy. It's been different. But honestly, if you look at college football, the league, the college football, the FBS is a lot of parity. It's just they had 3 super teams mixed with it. But everybody else was right there competing. Now, you've got a lot of different teams in college football. I mean, look at all the records that are going on in college football right now. You're going to have probably a 3-loss team in the college football playoff. All these games are good.
When was the last time you seen Vanderbilt in the top 10? Forget about whether or not they deserve to be there. When was the last time you saw Vanderbilt in the top 10?
Indiana?
Damn.
I mean, look at Indiana.
Indiana's in the top 3.
Indiana. Cincinnati? They're ranked. Georgia Tech is ranked 8th right now in the country. 8th. A parody. That's
Wait a
called
minute.
parody.
What is going on at San Diego State right now?
What?
Kirk Kenny just posted a video of Sean Lewis in a dunk tank at San Diego State.
Hey, good for him.
San Diego State coach Sean Lewis found an unusual way to cool down on a hot day. Today, it's a hot day today. Oh God, it's 88 degrees. Jesus.
It's hot today. Yeah.
Agreeing to jump in a dunk tank at San Diego State Student Center. 3 throws for $5, $10 for the press. That's rude.
$10. That was probably just for Kirk.
Money goes to Aztecs Rock Hunger, which fights student food insecurity.
Oh, I just saw that.
So
Stop by the
Sean
Student
Lewis
Union Courtyard
in a
at
dunk
noon.
tank.
You missed it. It's 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I know that.
Bummer. Sean Lewis is the man. I love the Sean Lewis deal. All right. Let's talk about Aztec basketball when we come back. San Diego State, USD. They play tonight at 7 o'clock. I'll have the call on USDToreros.com. Big one in college basketball. Final exhibition game for both teams. College basketball starts next week. We'll get you a preview when we come back. San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This hour 97 to the Fan is brought to you by our local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. I can't believe the show's almost over. Almost over. So close. Anyway. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Parody. I'm going to need the definition of that tomorrow, Frank. Can you use it in a sentence?
Get it for you right now.
No, it's a homework assignment. Tonight's homework assignment class is to find out what parody means.
I'm sorry, I'm doing my homework in class. The state or condition of being equal, especially regarding status or pay.
Correct.
That is the definition of parody.
I think you got a lot of parody in a lot of sports right now. I don't think you have it in baseball to the point where people want to watch it on a daily basis. And that's a big reason why the ratings are down, which was the whole point of our conversation.
David Vu did post it earlier in the chat. I saw it.
David Vu brings up a good point. You know what's interesting? Anthony brings up teams that can win it in parity. Eagles are in the bottom 4 in terms of cap space used on active players. That is parity. Again, it's not the result. It's about all the teams being able to play and compete with the same kind of deal. College football is a lot like the baseball where it's unlimited resources for certain teams. That's where you don't get the parity. Is the leagues that have unlimited resources and not everybody's playing by the same rules. To say that the NFL does not have parity and saying it's simple or in complaining that you're tired of that narrative. No, the narrative that it's getting run out there is I hate the narrative of like every team can do this. Not every team can do what LA is doing. It's not possible. And that's what gets frustrating. And it only comes from one group of people, and it's the people that root for that team, and they don't want anything to change. That's why they don't complain. They like being on the top. They like all the rules set for themselves. And that's why they make it sound like it's not a problem, but reality of it is it is a problem. And you wonder why the ratings are going down in the United States for baseball. Why are they continuing to put in rules to try to get people to watch the sport, Frank? Why are they putting in rules that are they're all these rules like 3-batter minimum and try to keep the pace of play? They're trying to get people to watch the game.
Yes.
Which means what? They don't think people are watching their sport as much.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of these teams are understanding that, and they need to fix this problem. At least the teams that want to compete. Now, the teams that also don't want a salary cap are the same teams that don't want a salary floor. Those are the Marlins and the Pirates and all those teams that are equally the problem. The problem is not the Los Angeles Dodgers abiding the rules and spending all the money that they have. The problem is you don't have a centralized TV deal and there's no rules when it comes to spending money and resources. The more money you spend, the more likely you're going to be able to win, especially in baseball when you have to be a top 15 payroll in order to win. That has been proven over the last 20 plus years. You have to have a top 15 payroll to win in baseball. That's not parity. Just because in the NFL had a couple of teams win back-to-back doesn't mean they don't have parity in the league. Any one of those teams can win every single year. They all play by the same rules. That's the whole point of that conversation. Joe Davis is pretty bad right now. I'm kind of disappointed in Joe Davis. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Joe Davis. And here's the thing, like with me, I don't dislike Joe Davis because he's the Dodgers broadcaster. Like, if you don't want to listen to Joe Davis because he's just the Dodgers broadcaster, that's a different problem. You just hate the Dodgers. But the reality is, I feel like Joe Davis, when he first came on the scene, was awesome. And then all of a sudden it's like, he just does it too much, right? Like his energy's too high for the Dodgers. I think he has turned himself into a yelling play-by-play guy instead of the great play-by-play he was when he first came up and doing college football and everything like that. That's my problem with Joe Davis. I mean, every fly ball in the last 2 days has been like he actually gets a home run. It's like the crowd out there is going to throw you through a loop. What's your opinion on Joe Davis doing these games?
He should no play-by-play guy for a team should be doing a nationally televised game for that team.
Who did the Brewers series for the was that
whoever
wasn't that Brian Anderson?
Whoever did TBS. I don't know.
American League was Fox. TBS, but I think it's Brian Anderson, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he has got I forget his name, but I'm pretty sure the Milwaukee Brewers guy did the Brewers series.
That should not be. That is not okay. I'm sorry. I love Gary Cohen.
Yeah, Brian Anderson, I'm pretty sure did the Brewers series.
I love Gary Cohen, but I would never want Gary Cohen doing a nationally televised Met game because it's hard to be impartial when you cover a team every single day, when you're with that team every single day, when you're with them for 200 days out of the year. It's hard to turn that impartiality switch off.
Yeah, but you see really good broadcasters be able to do it. And also, if Joe Davis is the number one guy for Fox, he shouldn't be punished because the team that he happens to broadcast for ends up winning or going to the World Series.
Every other TV broadcaster does it. When was the last time Don Orsillo called a Padre postseason game?
When's the last time Don Orsillo called a postseason game? But Brian Anderson was calling the Brewers games.
It should be national broadcasters, period.
So then they shouldn't be able to make money on the other stuff? I mean, they're doing both. I mean, they're doing a bunch of different things. It's hard to say that you can't have those guys unless you pair them with a color analyst. That's somebody else.
What was other than it being who it was, what was so bad about Joe Buck and McCarver?
Joe Buck didn't want to do baseball anymore.
I'm not saying him. I'm saying what's wrong with that kind of guy, a guy who just does every sport. What's wrong with that guy? What's wrong with that kind of guy?
To just be the national broadcaster? Yes. These guys do it, and for more money, they get picked up to do regular games. Like Boog Shambi does games for radio. He does thing on ESPN, on ESPN radio for the playoffs. Boog's doing all these games, and he's doing Cubs games. Boog probably does a better job than everybody else. But, you can't. I mean, the Joe Davis thing's one thing. I just feel like Joe Davis has taken a step back in terms of broadcasting since he became the Dodgers guy. I just think it's too much yelling and
even when
pomp and circumstance.
Going back to when he was fine. He was okay when he was making fun of David Vassegh breaking his arm going down the Brewers slide. That kind of Joe Davis, that was fine. He was fine then.
When Joe Davis first started as a first was coming up to the national, he was good. I thought he was one of the best, but I think he's just kind of been a little, I don't know. It's just gotten a little clowny, in my opinion. And then here's the other thing too, guy. Like here's where I'm going to defend the broadcast. As people that watch, right? Like every national broadcast is going to spend time on both teams. So like, and our local broadcasts don't necessarily do that a whole ton. And not a lot of local broadcasts do that. So when you watch those broadcasts all the time, then watch a national broadcast, everybody assumes that the broadcasters are for the other team. I mean, they're gonna say nice things about the Dodgers, like they're in the World Series, and I think a lot of people get very upset when you say good things about the team they dislike.
Right, but
I
there's also,
do think Joe Davis goes a little bit too overboard with some of the stuff. But I don't think it should cost Joe Davis an opportunity to do the World Series if he's the Fox guy.
like they said, somebody posted a back-to-back comparison of how Joe Davis calls Dodger home runs as compared to Toronto home runs. It's like he's calling it for Sportsnet Dodger games of Dodger home runs. Even the one that was one of them was one of the balls that were hit like to the wall in like the 13th inning the other night. You would have thought it was 500 feet. Vladdy hits one that ends up in the back of the bleachers, and it's like, home run, gone.
I've watched those comparison videos.
His home run,
I don't think it's
home
as
run,
egregious as people want to make it out to
his
be.
call for Shohei was egregious, especially when it was put back to back with the grand slam from game one. That's awful.
That is MLB's guy. I don't like what you want him to not be
That's
excited for it. I'm
horrific.
sure he would do the same. I'm sure he's doing it for Aaron Judge if he was there. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on some things. I don't like. I think he has gotten worse I think he has gotten away from what made him good in the first place. Is my gripe. I think a lot of other people's gripes are he's excited for the Dodgers on big exciting Dodger plays, and the thing is he has to be. He might be slightly more excited when it's on his voice, but I honestly don't think it's that a huge thing. Rod, go find it. Play it for us. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Vince in Chula Vista. Vince, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Hey, Braden. So great discussion here. And I come down on it this way. Two things can be true at the same time. One, Joe Kelly, right? He shouldn't be doing Dodger games. One, because I hate the Dodgers and I hate hearing him talk about it. And two, there's nowhere for him to go but down, right? Everybody's going to critique him because he's going to sound overly enthusiastic whenever Shohei hits a home run, which is by and large is 50% of the time, right? So he's going to sound super excited about it and not so super excited, comparatively speaking, to when Vladdy does it. So there's nowhere for him to go but down. And are you guys telling me he's the only guy that can do the World Series? Orsillo can't do the World Series, so this guy is Fox's guy. There's got to be a caveat to it when the guy's team is in there, because everybody is going to complain that this guy is overly for the Dodgers and not. It's just, it's just not working with the other team. So that's how I come down on it. And it's too bad in the playoffs too. You can't, during the regular season, if we don't like these guys and how they're calling the game for the Padres, we just turn it off and listen to the radio broadcast, which is what I do anyway, half the time when I'm not digging what's happening on the ESPN broadcast, as an example. So anyway, great at Braden, as always, great discussion with it. Really, really entertaining. But I fall down on it where, it's the Dodger announcer. I don't need to be hearing any more Dodger announcing. So anyway, man, continue on with the discussion. Thanks for letting me in, as you always do. And we'll talk soon. Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it, Vince. Let me ask you this. If it was anybody else in Major League Baseball, would anybody care?
I think it would be if it were Shulman probably is the only other one.
If Schulman
Right
was
in
doing
this.
it, but would anybody be complaining about it? Let me ask you this, because I think most of the people, I think most casual fans are rooting against the Dodgers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see the Barstool Sports guys, you see the like the all the podcasters, everything like that. Most people are rooting against the Dodgers. If it was Dan Schulman doing the games for Fox,
I'm sure Dodger fans would have a big problem with that.
yeah, but it would just be them. Would you have a problem with it? Every exciting Vlad home run?
No,
You would love it. You would be like, I'm all about it. I think a little bit has to do with the fact that it's the Dodgers.
But especially after hearing him talk earlier this year, as we did, we had him on. You can go back through our archives and find that interview. I would feel comfortable that he would call the game down the middle. I don't feel comfortable that Joe Davis can call a game down the middle.
I think we're a little biased because we don't like the Dodgers. I just think it's a little bit blown out of proportion. I'm telling you, like, if you see that wasn't the question I asked. The question I asked, Dan Schulman's doing the game, and he is biased towards the Blue Jays. Let's just say he is, just for the sake of argument.
If he's openly biased, then no, I would not want him to call the game.
No. If it sounds just like Joe Davis doing it for the Dodgers, and you hear Dan Schulman doing it for the Blue Jays, I don't know.
I wouldn't like it.
I don't know. I don't think a lot of people would care because it's the team you're rooting for in the potential World Series getting a little bit excited. I'm telling you, I think we're a little extra biased in the fact that we just don't like the Dodgers. If it was Boog Shambi doing the game and the Cubs were in the World Series and they were overexcited about the Cubs, is anybody really bitching about it? I honestly don't think a lot of people are bitching that much about it.
I agree with Go Aztecs in the chat. If you're a national broadcaster, you should not show bias.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, I think people are complaining more because it's the Dodgers.
Why can't you have Kevin Burkhardt call the game?
I know he's their main football guy.
Exactly. He's your number one guy on the NFL.
They should just switch it those years.
Just
Joe Davis gets to do the Super Bowl.
Fine. I'm okay with that. Why can't Kevin Burkhardt do these games? He's there anyway. He's doing the pre and post game stuff.
It's in their contracts, dude. I didn't make the contracts. I just think, are they glazing the Dodgers a little bit? Yeah, they are. But here's the other thing that people need to understand. The message from Major League Baseball about the Dodgers, is any of it bad? Is any of it bad? Like when they spend money and like, what are all the reporters doing? What are all the reporters doing? Like, what is Jeff Passan saying when the Dodgers spend money and people complain about it? What do they say?
The Dodgers ass.
Yeah, they do. Why?
Yeah, of course.
Because
baseball
loves it. They love it. Why?
Baseball's not.
They're making a killing in Japan right now. Like everybody's like, I can't believe they're glazing the Dodgers a bunch. What do you mean? Of course they are. That's their number one product. The number one product right now in Major League Baseball that they're pushing are the Los Angeles Dodgers. They just got an entire country to watch their sport. What were the numbers on Japan again? Insane. They're insane. The numbers in Japan.
Japan averaged 11.8 million viewers in game 1 and 9.5 in game 2. Average of 10.7 million viewers.
They are providing a lot of the juice. And the best player in the league right now is from Japan. And he's on the best team, which is the Los Angeles Dodgers. And what do you do as an organization, as a league? You promote your best player on your best team. That's what they do in the NFL, too, with Patrick Mahomes. I'm sick and tired of listening about Patrick Mahomes and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and all that stuff. But you know what? That's what people are locked in for. It's their best product. Of course they're going to talk about it. We just don't like it because of the Dodgers.
Who on NHK in Japan is listening to Joe Davis call that game?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Major League Baseball is going to showcase
but the overall
their number one product, which is the Dodgers.
The overall argument
and
here,
Ohtani,
though, is why it's not that why are they showcasing the Dodgers? It's why is Joe Davis calling these games when he is the Dodger guy? That's the argument here.
Because he's the number one guy at Fox. All I'm saying is I think people are blowing it out of proportion because they just don't like the Dodgers, which is fine. But a lot of it is, look at it. It's a lot of just they don't like the Dodgers. And if it's anybody, if Joe Davis was the broadcaster for the Cubs and the Cubs were the World Series,
but
I'm
if you're
telling
Major
you,
League Baseball,
nobody's bitching about Joe Davis doing the
if you're
games.
Major League Baseball and you're seeing these numbers in Japan, are you attributing that to Joe Davis calling these games and pumping up the Dodgers?
No, that's not
exactly.
They don't
because
care about Joe Davis. You're not understanding what I'm talking about.
No,
what I said was on the glazing thing. Because somebody said
right,
it's
they're
not
okay
just
with
Joe
it.
Davis.
They're okay with it because it's Joe Davis and because he's doing their bidding. He's pumping up the Dodgers. He's pumping up their team.
What people were saying in the chat that I was addressing, Frank, which had nothing to do with Joe Davis doing the game, by the way. If you're following along, it was about the glazing of the Dodgers, and people didn't like to hear that either.
Right,
and I said the reason why they do that is because of the number one team in baseball with the best player in baseball. And they get all of these ratings from around the world to watch the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, of course, they're going to talk about how great. I moved on from that. I don't know where you were losing me on that. I was following it in the chat. The Joe Davis thing, again, as I said before, to go back to what the whole Joe Davis conversation, I think people are more upset about him doing the game only because it's the Dodgers. I don't think anybody else really cares if it's any other they say it, but I don't think they really care if it's any other broadcaster doing the game for their own team on the national broadcast. It shouldn't happen, but I also don't think that should eliminate the fact that Joe Davis is the number one guy at Fox. Therefore, he gets to do the game. But at the same time, if Boog Shambi was calling the game for Fox and the Cubs are in it, I don't think anybody would really have a problem with it. I think it's a little bit extra with the Dodgers.
Joe, we'll pay you the same amount to do the Super Bowl.
Everybody would love Don Orsillo doing the game for the Padres.
Burkhart's got the series. We'll give you the same amount that you would have made for this series to do the Super Bowl. There you go. Done. So this way you don't miss out on pay. You get a new opportunity.
What happens if Kevin Burkhardt says, no, I'm not giving up the Super Bowl? Why would I give up the Super Bowl to do the World Series? It's in my contract. We got to go with somebody else. I'm telling you, these are all the things that work out. But Joe Davis is doing all the World Series games. He signed the contract with Fox. Just because his team happened to make it there doesn't mean he gets to lose out on doing the opportunity.
How did Kevin Burkhardt start on television?
What does that have to do with anything?
Mets sideline reporter. He's a baseball guy.
If you're a play-by-play guy, the number one watched sporting event
I understand
is the
that.
Super Bowl.
Yes.
I'm not giving up the Super Bowl because Joe Davis's team made the World Series. That's idiotic to me. The real problem here is Joe Buck signed with. You know what the problem? You know what the problem is? It's the mouse again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he signed Joe Buck. And now, and here all the baseball people bitched about Joe Buck. Oh, God, Joe Buck doesn't like baseball. We can't listen to this guy. Who cares if Joe Buck likes baseball or not? The guy was the best broadcaster of the group.
God, I would love. I never thought I would miss a day to hear Joe Buck sleep through one of the biggest moments in a game.
This is a warning. This is a warning. This is a warning to everybody that thinks it's always better on the other side. This is the warning. Everybody was upset with Joe Buck. You know what? It could be worse. It could be Joe Davis. Now you guys have Joe Davis. It's the mouse's fault. I knew. Comrade Mickey ruining everything. It's the mouse's fault. Mouse's fault. 833-288-0973.
We officially hate the mouse on this show.
833-288-0973. I will never. And you know what? If the mouse hoses me again on the BYU TCU start time, I am raising hell.
Coming up next on the program, we hear ESPN Plus broadcaster Braden Surprenant break down the San Diego State USD game tonight.
I'm not contracted by ESPN. I'm contracted by USD. I'm going to have the most biased broadcast tonight in favor of the Toreros.
On the mouse.
That's right. That damn mouse. All right. We'll actually talk about that game a little bit. Aztecs and USD. We'll try to get a quick preview. And do you know what's going on with the Stars and the Mavericks? That's a wild story.
Something we might have to save to tomorrow because we're going to have like 5 minutes to close the show out.
It's going to be a fun 5-minute segment on the Mavericks and the Stars when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show. I can't believe I had to defend Joe Davis for the last 25 minutes. I'm sickened by that. Biggest Fan Contest returns Monday, November 3rd. A grand prize is a night in the Odyssey Suite with 20 tickets for you and your friends to watch a future Padres game with the whole fan staff. Register your name at 97thefANSD.com/biggestfan and listen when we have announced names each day at 9, 1, and 5:30 for your chance to qualify. All right, I kind of jumped around on the last segment, Frank, so my apologies on that. Why we did not follow the I jumped onto something in the YouTube chat.
Yeah,
And
way
therefore
to just completely go off the rails from the segment that I built. The perfectly good hodgepodge held together with spit and gum final segment that we had originally planned. Way to go and ruin it.
You know, you're welcome. You have no work for tomorrow. We've got a lot of segments we can get to tomorrow. You defending Joe Davis like Frank giving the NFL any credit. I think Joe Davis has gotten worse as he has gotten on. I think you got to give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit on some of these things. It was my whole argument. I just feel like we are. There you go, X. Love it. I just feel like we're extra biased because it's the Dodgers. Slightly. Yeah, exactly, Frank. Your job's done tomorrow until they announce Pujols as the manager or Nick Hundley as the manager.
I still have to build a show for tomorrow.
You have to build 2 shows tomorrow.
No, I have to build 1 show tomorrow because I know what the second show is. I need to build 1 show just in case that other show doesn't happen. The other show is going to be 2.5 hours of Albert Pujols before we get to Clint Allard tomorrow at 12:30. Head coach for UCSD basketball.
That's right. And tomorrow we'll give a recap of USD and San Diego State. We didn't have really time to give too much of a preview. USD's got a lot of European professionals tonight against the Aztecs. Matching the Aztecs' physicality is going to be big for the Toreros tonight. And the other thing, too, is like you have a bunch of new faces for USD and a bunch of guys at San Diego State that play with each other for the last couple of years. That's going to be some interesting things to watch or listen to in tonight's game. Last tester before we get to regular season college basketball. Already around the corner. Justin, get yourself to an Aztec basketball game. They're pretty fun. Have you been to an Aztec basketball game?
I don't think so, honestly.
Get yourself a credential for some of these games and get to one of those games. They're fun. Gets loud.
You said San Diego State, right?
Aztecs, yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's Viejas Arena, dude. That's a tough place to play.
Been to the Jenny Craig Pavilion a couple times.
That's a nice arena.
It is.
What about Lion Tree?
It's not nice when you're standing in what has to be a 50-year-old scissor lift trying to replace a sign on a scoreboard. That's not fun.
No, it's not. We did not put the midday sports stand-up, but if you take me down tomorrow and Friday,
gonna have to.
If you do it, you could qualify for a chance to win a grand prize, a trip for 2 to see Jerry Seinfeld in Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to the show on April 17th at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace, a 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, and a $100 gas card. Jerry Seinfeld returns to the Coliseum at Caesars Palace on April 17th and 18th. See Ticketmaster.com for tickets. As you could tell, I was kind of late on a lot of the reads here.
I don't care. As long as they get read, I don't care.
That's right.
They get read.
This hour, by the way, on 97 to the Fan is presented by Toyota of Poway, voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today, with APRs as low as 0% and tons of new Toyotas on the ground. No tricks, only treats. During the Trucktober sales event happening now only at Toyota of Poway or online at toyotaofpoway.com in the heart of San Diego.
My God, you missed that one too?
There was
Jeez.
3 of them.
Lazy?
Where I get here's the deal. Where I get behind is we have 2 hour sponsors for the noon hour, and they're both car companies. I try to spread those out as much as possible. But I don't know what the Toyota one was kind of relative to the whatever. The holidays. Are you dressing up for Halloween? No, he says.
No, I am not.
I went with t-shirts that I found on Amazon that were cheap. So my friend is a ghost, which means I have to somewhat pair with said ghost. for a party on Saturday. You follow me so far?
I got you.
I don't want to dress up.
I don't blame
So
you.
I bought 2 different shirts. I have a Ghostbusters shirt, fair, and then I'm with the ghost, and it's a skeleton hand pointing. That is my Halloween attire. I'm like Sam, dude. I don't need to dress up for stuff. I don't like dressing up for stuff.
It's one thing if you're doing it, like if you have kids, that's one thing. You're kind of a jerk if you don't dress up at that point.
Hey, let me add, one. Frank should be Indiana Jones in memory of what he's lost in Indianapolis. The bit of Juan getting a one-liner on you multiple times a show is actually a great bit.
Juan
flirts with danger. Juan flirts with danger. He does. He flirts with danger every day in the chat. And you know what? I appreciate Anthony S. in the chat for being civil the entire time.
Yes.
He had a great conversation.
Unlike some other people.
Yeah. He's still in that. The thing is, you can see who watches. You just go at and then start typing their name in.
Yeah.
Everybody that hates, man, they still watch.
We appreciate you
We
guys.
appreciate it.
Even the ones that hate us. We love you guys.
Juan's one-liners on Frank just kill. You know what? He's pretty good. Like, Juan's pretty good at just getting like a bang dagger. Too bad you're not a Jets fan. That would just make things way funnier. Juan would be having a field day. Bang! For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. This has been the Braden Surprenant Show. Gwen and Chris coming up next. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan.
Derrick Henry and the Ravens look to climb back into the playoff picture when they travel to South Beach to face